Folks, welcome back to the Morocco channel. This is Morocco Talented Worldwide edition with also the iHealth channel and iHealth radio concept here, because we're going to talk about health with a team of innovators from Morocco and the US and Canada. And so this is going to be a little bit of a nice little spread on a topic that is very important. That is, I think there's a need for this topic to be discussed over and over and over. And this team has made it their mission to really make a difference in the world of autism. That is the topic we're going to be talking about. And again, especially in Morocco, it is not a topic that's very well handled in a way. And I would say this because there's a lot of lack in terms of approach to it, the presence of it, the even acceptance of it. And we're going to talk about all these things today with my team. So my team actually, that here, when I say my team, I mean the guests here, they're a team that actually I call them innovators because what they did is an excellent, they created a platform that helps, people with autism, kids with autism to overcome some of the hurdles they may have in comprehension and things like that. And again, they'll give us more scope on that. So without any further ado, I have with me team Iqbal and Karima Askour, and they are the ones behind EZDUCATE, a platform for autism. Welcome to the show, folks.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it is a pleasure. And I have to say, I've been doing this for over 5 years. I've had a couple of shows on autism that are in the US, and but I still have not had a chance to talk about autism in terms of Morocco specifically and the impact that it has. And again, globally, autism is just rampant. I mean, it's just something that is existing, and I'm thinking, and I think based on what I've heard and read and even through the exchanges I've had, it is just growing, and it's a big deal. And a lot of people sometimes don't even know what it is, how it works, what's the symptoms of it, and things like that. So today, you guys, are here to give us a little bit of a just an insight on what is autism and how it works, and your journey, because I know there's a great story behind all this, and what got you to today and where you are and the platform and everything else, because of personal experiences that you've had. And I know there's a partner that is not with us. I didn't mention her name, so if you don't mind, introduce her as well to our audiences today, and then let's go through the journey, and then we can deep dive into the whole world of autism today.
Yeah. My like co-founder, my bestie, her name is Meriyem Kaf. She used to go to middle school with my husband. Yeah, Mr. Iqbal. They used to go to middle school, and everybody like just middle school. Then for high school, she went somewhere else. Like, I don't know, 25 years later, or even.
I could tell the story.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yes. So basically, I know her since middle school. We went to the same class together. That was in Timara, Morocco. And then we lost touch after a few years. And to be honest, at the time, we weren't even that close. She was like, she knew me. I knew her. We went to the same class. But a few years later, and that's around, I would say
2020, yeah.
2020, yes. There was this Facebook group for our middle school and high school. And then I reconnected with lots of friends from, and I'm talking about, I went to middle school in 1994. So that was a while ago. So I reconnected with a few friends, and then I don't recall exactly what happened, but we at some point we had a conversation, and she talked about how she's a successful C-level executive in corporate Canada, but she also worked in some American corporations. She's very talented, especially when it comes to retail. She won some awards for like women in retail, so very distinguished lady. And at some point, the conversation was about her daughter, and she mentioned at the time, I don't recall her exact age, but she mentioned that she suspected that her kid has some delays and so on. And because we had the same experience with our daughter, Amal, so I was like kind of suspected that she needs a diagnosis of autism. So we've been talking about it, and then eventually I introduced her to my wife because she could give her perspective as a mother, how she raised a daughter with autism, and how to navigate the system, the services, and so on. And that's how, at some point, when AI, in 2022, you could see all these advances in AI. So, and I always had some ideas, but the technology was just not there to, because you saw the videos that Karima sent you, autistic kids are usually very visual. So it helps them if you could use visual aids to teach them math and whatnot. And that's how the idea came up. I was like, okay, you're really good at what you do. We need someone good in marketing. I'm good in technology. Let's do something together. And then that's how the idea started. And then Karima, she's very involved with my daughter and with educators and teachers. So I was like, you're a people's person. You need to be the CEO. I'm not really a people's person. I mean, I try. And that's how this journey started. Yeah.
Wow. Well, so there's a few things there. We're gonna break it down, right?
Yeah.
Well, again, the journey, as you said, the keyword journey. I mean, it started with your daughter first, right? I mean, at least as you're concerned, before you even met on the Facebook with your friend from school. And so how I mean, because for every parent watching and listening, that's probably one of the most difficult times when you realize that your children may have some sort of a level of delay, as you said, right? And you're concerned about it. And sometimes it's not even, people can say, well, it's normal. It just they everybody has different pace, right? But at what point do you realize, well, no, there is something here a little bit more serious that we need to address? That's something you've experienced as parents, both of you.
Yeah.
I know that is not an easy experience, and so if you don't mind, just share that with our audiences, because I know there are people out there that potentially having kids now, and they have not experienced this, and they might be able, sadly, encountered the same kind of concept, but at least by sharing your experience with them, they might be able to even see it before it happens, or before it's too late, right? They can do something about it sooner. The sooner, the better than everything else, right? That's the rule. So go ahead, Karima. I know you're excited about this. Let's do this.
As we know, like early intervention is key in everything. When we noticed for Amal, her dad noticed before I did. My relationship with kids was never like, I have fun with them, I play with them. I had no idea what are the milestones. So for me, it was like, yeah, she's good. She does not talk yet. She walked really late. And whenever I talked to his mom, she would tell me he walked really late too. So in the back of my hand, it was like, maybe she's just like her dad.
Yeah.
Like this is how we think. And then the talking, she did not talk. Then the mom told me he did not talk till he was 3. I was like, oh my God, so this is all okay. But he did not, because he had a younger brother, 9 years younger than him. So he saw how kids, like the milestones are. So for him, it was like, no, I think something is wrong with her. We need to go check. It's like, let's go check. If there's something wrong with her, we can like deal with it. If there's nothing, we checked.
And I started noticing that around when she was 16 months.
16 months,
Yeah. But we really didn't see anyone until 2 years, right?
Yeah, when she turned 2, I took her to the pediatrician, and I was telling her like she's like speech delay. She had really good eye contact when she was a baby. She did not have a lot of autism like signs. She loves people. She loves to be touched. She loves hugs. She's super people person. She's always smiling. She's a happy kid. She doesn't mind sound. She doesn't mind light. Like 4th of July, we used to live in Tampa, Florida. In 4th of July, and like the fireworks, and she's sleeping and snoring. Nothing, like she was okay with that. She slept all night when she was a baby. She did not give me any hard time. As a baby, she was the perfect baby ever. So it was like, it's confusing. She was never like, how do we say that? Like, the book, like the science in the books that says she's autistic. There was nothing apart from speaking, and that's just speech delay sometimes.
But there were some signs, like for example, not pointing to objects. So that's like a telltale sign of autism. There was some other stuff, But what we realized while, obviously as parents, we were really worried about that period. So we started reading about autism, and what we discovered and what people and parents need to know that it's a spectrum. So you might have no two autistic kids are the same.
Yeah.
And actually, autistic is not the best term, but usually the preferred way to say it is in the autism spectrum. So there are differences. There are high functioning, low functioning. They could have different type of disabilities or abilities too. So it's a very wide spectrum, but there are some commonalities like struggle with social interactions, struggle with some, especially language for some of them, and so on. But yeah, we had to navigate also the system, like the school system, the insurance system. It was a very stressful time, but at the same time, we learned lots of things. We learned also our rights as US citizens, and there are like things that we didn't know about before, like the American with Disabilities Act, IEPs, and then
program, school program,
pediatrician, all these things. It was a very good learning experience.
Yeah, it was.
Well, so just quickly, I want to touch on a few things. I mean, you mentioned a couple of things that are key elements that you've discovered or at least noticed, but for the average person, these would be, as you said, signs that could be just normal because, first of all, as you said, Iqbal, you said like, well, pointing, for example, is not there, but someone can say, well, how do you know that is related to, someone can be pointing or not? So many may not know this. And again, I know we're talking, right now we're still in the state in the US, right? Let's talk US, Canada. It's a little bit more advanced. So there is a lot more advanced in the world of autism, for example. And by the way, when I say advanced, we're still way behind, but there is a lot more work that's been done and services are available. As you said, you had to discover the ADA, which is the Disabilities Act, right? You've discovered the IEP programs, from schools and, how they can help you progress slowly at your own pace in a different setting. These are things that that are available here. Were not available a long time ago.
No, they're not.
But they are getting better.
They're not even available in Canada. Not even here. Forget about Morocco.
Like even in Europe and Canada, like the US happens to be one of the most advanced when it comes to neurodivergent, insurance handling and all these laws.
Well, so just a couple of things now. When you talked about your daughter, right, and you started noticing that, I mean, the first reaction, as you said, was, well, let me talk to the grandparents, right?
Grandma, this is the first thing we do,
You did that, the first thing, which is tradition for us, right? Like, hey, or you go to friends, like, you notice something, like, or everybody's got an opinion, right? What's wrong? What's going on? I don't see this or the other. And the questions start, rising up. And then you ask, and as you said, the first answer you had, well, her dad was a little, and I think that's just a common reaction because I think as parents in general, there is some sort of level of denial of any type of situation like this. We might not try to accept it. And again, I'm just speculating.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It's like to feel like, oh, my kids are fine. There's nothing wrong, right? And not that there is something wrong. I mean, it is what it is.
Wrong, of course not.
But that's how we see it.
It's ignorance more than denial sometimes.
I like
in
that.
my
That's
case,
perfect.
it was ignorance. I did not know anything about it. For him, he saw how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, because my younger brother, I'm like 9 years older, so I was kind of like his second dad, like a kind of a parent when my parents were not there.
You were not taking care of him.
Yeah,
but also the advice I would give to parents, like trust your instincts. So if you feel within that something is wrong, there's probably most likely there's something wrong, but it doesn't hurt to follow up, even if there's so you have nothing to lose to actually go to see a specialist. So better, see someone than be sorry later,
Well, so on that note, again, culturally speaking, I mean, again, if we take the US versus, let's say, Morocco, there's a big difference in the approach on how we see things and we do things. Now, someone can disagree with me and say, we're Moroccans, we're advanced. Well, we are to a degree in a lot of areas, but there are areas where it's taboo. I mean, it's like mental health. I mean, mental health is not something we talk about a lot. You tell someone like you need to see a shrink or a psychiatrist or a psychology that, in professional, they'll be like, oh, no, what's wrong with you? I mean, I don't need any help, right? And same thing here. A lot of people may have that not only they don't have the access, but they don't even want to say or share that information, like, hey, my kid is having this difficulty or the other difficulty. And that could be about anything, not just autism. But I think that is something that we have as just part of our culture. We try to keep it within, we try to handle it ourselves. And sometimes, we tend to ask people that may not even have the answers themselves, that we just we're fishing for something to just satisfy our curiosity in a way, but we're not getting the results. And I love what you said, that the U.S. is way advanced. Now, by the way, I mean, there's other countries. I think Japan is a different world on its own. I mean, they do different things. So different places have different advances, if you want to call it, in terms of this world. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I've had a few sessions and discussions with some experts in the U.S. about autism. And by the way, a lot of people are experiencing this. And again, as you said, I love what you said. It is a spectrum, and then there are thoughts that I think everybody is at a different level of that spectrum, including the people that may not even think they have autism, and so because there are people that discover that they have some level of autism even at a later
A
age.
lot of late diagnosis, a
And
lot.
and I've had someone actually that we had an interview that actually didn't know until it was in the late 30s or early 40s, where he discovered that he actually had some different approach to life. And then that was the diagnosis at that point. Now it's difficult. I mean, I guess it's different for someone at that age, has been through a certain part of life and advanced in education and everything. And yet there's a level where you discover that, and I've had actually a couple of them. I mean, even some, and these are people that have, PhDs, or they're, music producers and things like that are really big in their work, but yet they still have a level of it and they acknowledge it. There's certain things that autism, as you said, it has positive things, more than anything else. And the problem is, like, to qualify those positive things and highlight them is the challenge that people may have at a certain point. So that was just the generic, entry for your experience in terms of like discovering this. Now, the journey of education of it, and finding this, you summarize it like you found these things. How easy was that? Because it's not, unless you do the research, it's not like you hear programs every day. I think now more than ever, we have a little bit more of education, and you guys are going to be the pioneers in this in terms of assisting with your platform. But really, there was none. And I love that, there's that old saying, necessity is mother of innovation,
Yes, that is true.
or other invention. And actually, you can go both ways. You guys have seen that, and I've seen this before, where people have experienced it through their own family members and in different areas, not just autism, and they figure out a way to do something about it by themselves because there was a need and they found a way to help, and you're doing that. And we're going to talk more about the platform and how it works and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But so go ahead. So let's talk about the stages. So now you discovered this. There was you figured it out. Did you went to the doctors? Now I want to just bring our audiences closer to what that looks like, because what are some of the things that parents should expect if they actually go see doctors? Because what are the tests that they go through? I mean, is there a particular progress testing that they have to do, or a series of tests that they have to do? What does that feel like and look like for people?
Yeah, like first I took her to her pediatrician when she turned 2. When she saw her, she was like, yeah, she's delayed. It could be a lot of things. They don't give you the diagnosis right away. They take their time. And so that first time she told me, let me give you some educational, speech therapy and occupational therapy. Because my daughter was like really good with like moral skills. Like she wouldn't eat with her hands. She did not eat actually the first 2 years. She did not want to eat solid food. So there was not just there's a lot. The spectrum is like everything. Like when I talked to the pediatrician, she said, what I can do for you, I'm going to give you speech therapy, occupational therapy, while you get an appointment with
the developmental
pediatrician.
Yeah.
The developmental pediatrician, there's a wait list. So when I think I waited about 6 months. After that, we started with the test. So we did the auditory test, because they always say maybe they can't hear that why they don't talk, which was really hard to do because she was not verbal. She would not answer questions. She would not say if she heard something or not. I had it twice. She did it twice. It did not work. They had to put her under to get that test done.
to react,
Yes.
to noise, to like
Yeah.
physical.
So she did. And then they asked for an MRI. We did the MRI too. Nothing physical.
Yeah, and they also did something called the whole exome and whole metabolite, which basically they check her whole genome for because there are some genetic disorders that some of them happen only to boys, some of them happen only to girls, and they overlap with autism. So there's some couple of genetic disorders where you get like some autism aspects. So we did that. So we checked her whole genome, whole metabolite, and basically there was nothing wrong with it. Even though like autism, I think there are some genes involved, but it's not one of those other disabilities basically. And then we did all sorts of tests, and they also did the cognitive test.
Yeah, the cognitive
questionnaire.
test, yes, questionnaires.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I answered more questionnaires than I've ever seen in my whole life, just for her. Seriously.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they do an assessment, right? That's
yeah,
what
they
do,
have to do because she's
correct.
not verbal. So how would they gonna assess her just through me? And that's the crazy thing about kids on the spectrum. The way they are with you, they're not the way they are with other people.
Yes.
They're different people. Like when I used to take her to daycare, they would tell me she did stuff that I was like, are you sure you're talking about my kid? And when I tell them what she does at home, they would say, no, we never saw her doing that. It's like she makes everybody a liar. So that's it's like they're looking for their anchor. They're not anchored yet. So it was really hard the first years. So like first thing you do here in the US, you go to early intervention. It's with the state. Early intervention, they give you about 2 hours of speech for free a week. They do, if she needed physical therapy, she did not need anything. So other than that, then it goes to the insurance world, which is crazy. Oh, yeah. Her
Well, I'm laughing because that's my world. I work in the insurance space.
Yeah, I
we
know
can talk about
I
that.
was gonna say it's your fault. No, no.
Well, we
No.
fight. Trust me. But there's powers behind.
So we had like on her when she got the diagnosis, the doctor was nice enough. She gave her autism spectrum. She gave her anxiety because she could not get away from me. Like she was so. I did not
she has
get
separation anxiety.
She has
She
separation
would
anxiety.
always stuck to her mom.
I did not get rid of her until she turned 10. So make the count it.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah,
Lot
it's
of
a
work.
lot. It's a lot. Yes, I know. But she's cute, so it's okay. She's fine. So they had after like she gave her that one and she gave her another thing which I don't
ADHD.
No, ADHD until she turned 5. Then
Ah,
he was
okay.
diagnosed ADHD. No, she gave her another diagnosis which I really, she doesn't even think she has it. But the doctor was nice enough. She was like, if like just in case, if she grows up and she has it, insurance has to cover. Because insurance doesn't cover if they are late diagnosis for that. So that was my first interaction with the other world. Like you're not just worried about the kid, you're worried about finances. You're worried about what to do for your kid. So while I was doing after the third year, she grows out of the system. So then they send you to the public school for pre-K. For public school, this is when the IEP comes. They have an IEP. What does it stand for?
Individualized educational
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do the IEP. That was let me go back. Yes. The first year, like when she was diagnosed, like the first year, it cost us about $10,000 out of pocket with the insurance covering. Yes.
For what?
For therapies.
The school?
Yeah,
Okay,
so there are
therapies,
three. So before we talk about therapists, there's something that I want to tell parents. It's important that you do all these tests because sometimes it's not only genes, but also you could have some kids are born with the lack. There's a problem when they they are born, they're not taking enough oxygen, so they have some damage in the brain. So you gotta know whether it's a physical damage or something else. So it's really important. So going back to insurance, in the autism world, there are usually three sets of therapies. So there's the speech therapy, which is not only for autistic kids, it's also for kids with speech delay. And also there's occupation therapy, which has to do more with motor skills and things like that. And then ABA therapy, that's the most important one. So applied behavior analysis.
Yeah.
What it is, obviously, it's basically you set up goals for the child, and you set up a program to achieve those goals. And they could be stuff like simple, like one goal is probably, I'm gonna teach the kid how to wash his face or brush his teeth or whatever. And they keep repeating the process and observe what needs to be adjusted. So there's a little bit of controversy surrounding ABA. There are like some groups that say it's child abuse, but it's not. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of the most helpful therapies. So that's what the insurance is supposed to be like, supposed to cover. And that came, and it wasn't always the case, but after the Affordable Care Act passed, one of the provisions of it is like insurance should cover mental health, and that's considered mental health. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, go ahead.
No, I just hold. I wanted to because you touched on the test and you talked about the genetics, and the testing, the genome testing, as well as the possibility of problematic, I guess birth or within, the pregnancy level, inside the womb, there could be some oxygen, Now, have you discovered throughout your research and work, as obviously you're immersed into this, that there are any correlations with maybe the pregnancy itself, maybe the nutrition? I mean, is there anything that has to do that you discovered that is a possibility? Just the reason I'm asking that if there are parents that are expecting and want to have children, maybe there's something that they can do about it before that, right? So again, it may not be even a thing, but your expertise and experience in this is probably going to be as close as possible to the real world of where we are and when people can be.
Yeah, so what I would say, I mean, because of this whole situation, it drove me to actually start a PhD in bioinformatics and computation biology. So I did lots of reading, like papers, scientific publications about autism. And it's one of the conditions that's really complex. Like, for example, for genetic disorders, there are, for example, conditions that touch the African-American community, like sickle cell anemia. And it's basically one letter in one genome. So if it changes, you get that condition. So it's known, it's manageable. They know what's causing it. That's one type of genetic disorders. There are other types of genetic disorder, and they suspect autism is one of them. It's called multivariable or multifactorial genetic disease. So it could be a combination of tens, maybe thousands of genes that somehow. So every year they discover association, like this gene increased the risk of this and that. And there's also environmental factors, like, for example, if you're not leading a healthy lifestyle, for example, alcohol during pregnancy. But what I would emphasize, and I've seen this in parents, like, all these anti-vaxxer, like vaccines cause autism. I've seen I actually could talk about it, but basically what happened, there was this doctor in the 90s who made the claim. He published a paper and he said that the MMR vaccine, because it contains a little bit of mercury, and he said since mercury is like a neurotoxin, it might be causing autism, and he published that. But when when you publish a scientific paper, there's a process called peer review, where other scientists basically look at your data and figure whether you're lying or making up data, or you have actually solid data. And they found out that his claims were not solid and he had to retract. But the damage was already done because then celebrities pick up. And the reason I think this is wrong is, first of all, there were follow-up studies. One I think was in Finland and another one was in Israel. And these were the two largest studies, like association between MMR vaccine and autism. And they actually didn't find any correlation at all. And also the amount of mercury that was used back then in the MMR vaccine, that it was basically, if you eat a can of tuna, you're taking 10,000 times more mercury than that in the vaccine. So the tuna might cause the damage more than the vaccine. So I just want to tell the other parents, vaccinate your kids. Because you don't want to, because you're fearing autism, you don't want your kid to have a debilitating disease like polio or something like that. And unfortunately, celebrities, some of them are contributing to this problem. So I want to emphasize this really.
Well, thank you. So on that note, so just to clarify for our audiences, I mean, this is talking about a kid's vaccination. I mean, you cannot go to school without having a full spectrum of.
That's for a good reason, because people used to die in school.
And by the way, we do have some diseases that do come back every now and then, due to lack of. I mean, even today, I've been reading about some stuff that is happening, in parts of the world where there is a lack of vaccination in certain areas, and therefore there is some of these things that are preventable. And so these, and by the way, I think, listen, I was a kid one day and I had my set of vaccinations. You cannot go to school without having those medical, booklets with all your vaccines and the basics. And there's a lot of them. Now, obviously, some people will say, we get it more and more. There's, as you said, people that are against them. Some people are pro. And so there's a lot of talk about, I mean, obviously that's still controversial in a way, in terms of people have different opinions about it, and we're not debating that today. They can.
It was because you were asking about the pregnancy.
No, I get it.
Everything else, we did everything right. My pregnancy was the happiest pregnancy ever. It was so good. Even
I didn't question that. I know.
No. I'm just telling you. There's not a lot of things we cannot point to what happened.
It's a multifactorial. Yes. So there's something else. So people think that the autism is on the rise, but there was actually, if you look at the literature, there have been reported cases since antiquity, like Roman doctors described things like that. And also there was Dr. Asperger's in Austria, who had actually one of the first autism programs in Austria. And unfortunately, the Nazis destroyed his work. And so what's happening, I think, is a combination. There are some environmental issues, like more pollutants, maybe more chemicals in the food chain. Maybe that might be a cause, but also there's better diagnosis. Like before, growing in Morocco, there's a generic name, so everyone is crazy. And I remember growing up, some kids that now thinking of them, they probably were on the spectrum, and so there's better diagnosis, and also,
Well, so thank you for clarifying that, because as you said, I mean, this is not new. I mean, historically, you're right. There are, I guess, depictions of autism, spectrum from centuries. But now with the technology we have, with the advances, we can see that there is more articles, more information. So therefore, we have more statistics and analysis and analytics, on this subject. So we see the numbers differently, right? But the reason I was asking these questions, because there's also a lot of talk about the effect of food, and you mentioned something about maybe right now they just passed a law, I think, about some red dye or something that is going to be banned in our food, right? That I think the FDA just approved that. But we have a lot of that stuff, and there's a lot of discussion. We are the High Health channel, but we also have the Nutrition channel, so we do a lot of look at this stuff, and there's a big discussion, and there are some thoughts that may link the abundance of all these chemicals in our food supply, whether through the pesticides and things like that. There's an impact in what we take in, and certainly how it affects our children, and even children that are born and good. They may not have been even in the spectrum. There is a tendency that as they progress and eat all the food that may not be as nutritious and or clean in a way, there is a potential for them to maybe get into a spectrum. Because that's the other question that I have is is it something that you're starting with, or is it something they can pick up on the way? Again, I don't know that the answer to that one, and so I don't know if that's something even possible.
Yeah.
You have been into it. You have been in the mix of this. You probably have a closer answer to anyone else, or at least other than the specialists themselves. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would think. I mean, my advice is you try to hold like a healthy lifestyle as much as you can. But there are no guarantees. There's this village in Greece where everyone lives up to 110 years and they all smoke, you know. So,
We have
yeah,
those.
yeah, so try to do your best. The food, the human body is very resilient. We have all these DNA repair mechanism, all these things going on that protect us from chemicals, UV. You try to do your best, and there's some things to obviously that you need to avoid. But that's why I brought up the vaccination. Like people are talk about like a minute levels of mercury in an older version of the vaccine, then they go eat a McDonald's, and then so so
Well,
yeah.
that's that. We have that even like Let me have a
I
diet
crave
coke.
junk food occasionally, so and I'm struggling also with pre-diabetes and some other thing, but it's we try to do our best. But the good news now that we're at a time where there's the technology like AI in biology is able to figure more things, and we every year there are more discoveries about genes, so I'm pretty optimistic. Plus I think autism is not always a disability, it's really a different way of seeing the world. So it's only a problem because the majority see the world in a certain way.
Yes.
If you talk, for example, to my daughter, she's
Oh my God.
straightforward, like a straight shooter. She would talk to you. She's very frank, like but
Yes,
we as a
yeah.
society we try to hide our feelings,
She does not.
yeah, so they have a different
Tells it
way
as
of
it
seeing the
is.
world. Yeah.
She
Well,
does.
I love what you said there because I think we need to just highlight that, specifically because what is normal? I mean, there is
Yes.
Yeah.
no. I mean, we always have a
It's
set of things that we think is normal, but what is normal? And
what is
and everybody's got their own normal in a way, right? I mean, and this is
subjective. Yeah.
and the funny thing is that expression has been used a lot more recently after the pandemic, the new normal, right? And so for everybody, their normal is different, and so what's normal for you may not be exactly for me. Now we have some guidelines, if you want to call it, as to how the
Yeah.
behavior is supposed to be. But you're right, like someone who's frank, straight up. I mean, they tell it as it is, and
As
that's all
is.
there is. You like it or not, too bad. And
For
so
her, she's the normal. We are the abnormal.
that's
This
right,
is
and
what
that's
it
what I'm
should be, actually. So no, I would love to live in her world. I would love to. She's happy.
You don't hide it. There's nothing to hide. You're straight.
There's
You're clear.
nothing. Yeah. I always ask her, can I go with you? And she would say no. Can you take me with you? And she said no. Yeah, because they have like it feels like they live in two worlds, theirs and with other people. And this is why they go back to their world a lot when they're anxious about us because we are messy and they're not. They go. So for her, she lives like what I say, but to say to the parents, it's a you problem, not their problem. For them, the kid is amazing. He's good. She's good. They're fine. We have the problem, not them. So all you have to do is help them to breach, like to come to our world a little bit. That's it. And you need just to show them the way. They're so smart. They're so empathetic. Like there's a lot of stereotypes about autistic kids. They would say, "Oh, they don't care." No, they care.
Or they lack empathy.
Oh, they lack empathy. They do, but they don't know how to express themselves. Like they have everything we have. The only problem they have is expression. They don't know how to do it.
Well, it's not that they don't have they just have different way of expressing themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, they do have expression. It's just that their way is not. It's like having
yeah,
a separate language, and we just got to speak that language. I mean, it's like going to a country where you don't understand what they're saying, and then you just
yeah.
expect to have communication. So once we learn that, it's a lot easier to get in. And I
Yeah.
think for them, it's the same way. They have to learn how to navigate the regular communication,
Yeah.
and that's really the challenge. So once they get through that stage, I think it makes a difference.
Yeah,
You
this
know,
is what made us like think even about EZDUCATE, because the way he taught her math, you saw the video, like it's so visual. We know that she's super visual in everything. So all we do is try to speak her language with, like, because they have the kids, they don't generalize. They everything is so for them. We need to, everything is like one way for them. If you tell them this is blue, that's the only thing that's blue. Blue is not a color. The thing is blue. And you say that's blue. So, no, it's not, because it's not the blue you showed me before. So when you talk to them, they don't get it, but they're visual. If you show them, they'll get it.
no,
This is why we visualized everything for the kids. Like even for today, that's something new. Like today, uh, for her, for her first, like her pediatrician center, like the, what is it called?
Screening?
The screening, the
Yeah.
depression screening. So how would you tell her like to read it and the questions like we do? She's not going to understand it. We have a feature in our platform that what it does, normally we are using it for the curriculum. They adapt the curriculum to the kid. I used the chat and I adapted the questions for her. When I gave all the information about her, the same like questions, it was written in another way with visuals for her.
translated.
Mhm.
So it's like translation, yes.
I
And
know.
she answered everything. And it was so easy for her because when I tried in the car to start asking her, she was all over the place. And they don't say, I don't understand. They guess. They pass all their life, it's just guessing things and
Mm.
giving you whatever you want to hear just to leave them alone. So, so this is why like we're working on, we're trying to visualize everything for the kids. Like for her, like that thing they had it when she transitioned from pre-K, like in the private sector, where she had her ABA therapist go with her. She was going to school with the therapist. She did twice a week at home and 3 days at school. But when she turned 3, I had to go to the public school. So I went to see how it is in there. I asked, could I bring my ABA therapist with her because she's used to her? They said no. We have everything here. When I went there was everything with visuals, but they're static. Like just if you want to go to the bathroom, you go and you do like this on the bathroom thing. It was not. The kid. It's like a
Interactive.
robot.
Yeah, it's
I
not
did
interactive.
not like it, and I saw that and I was like, no, thank you. I kept her even if I had the IEP because I had to have it because whenever we moved, I had to use it in here because like again, ABA therapy, there's a line to get yourself like a schedule, like to get an appointment, to get somebody to see your kid. It takes months, sometimes years to
Yeah,
get that.
and it depends also on states. Some states are better than others. Some have more funding, so there are some regional differences too.
So like she stayed in her private school, but when we moved to Virginia, we had to take her to the public school. So in the public school, I need parents to know that they have rights because I did not know that. I was lucky enough because I'm friendly and I talk to everybody. I found a lot of people who helped me all the way. So they put them in one class. It's called autism class. You know, the autism is a spectrum. So they would put somebody who's high functioning with somebody who's not, like I'm sorry to say, they was still in their diapers. So the kid, when you put
There
them
were
in
also
there,
physically disabled
and
people on the
no,
wheelchair.
not even the
Yeah.
physically disabled is okay. They cannot do it. But these kids, they're not physically disabled. They're just super delayed. So the kid regresses. My friend Miriam, like our co-founder, her daughter went to therapy just not in the classroom, and there was no when she did the ABA therapy. Canada is another whole problem. Like we're not even talking about that today because it's gonna take like 7 or 100 episodes just to talk about the situation in Canada. She,
Oh, you can't even get an appointment, in general,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
yeah,
Yeah. So
let alone
she went
specialty.
to the ABA and she came home. The girl, she runs. she started crawling again. Why are you doing that? Because she saw the other kid was crawling. So she crawls again. And my daughter, when she started here, like the first 5 months, I saw a lot of regression and she was doing a lot better. So I talked to the teacher and I was like, yes. And she said, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this, but I'm not supposed to. You can call for an IEP meeting anytime you want, and you can make them change everything for her.
And that's why how we learned about the American with Disabilities Act. You actually have lots of
It has
rights.
a lot of rights you did not know about.
Even though the teachers during the meeting would have like a program in place, they can't do anything without your consent. So
Yep.
usually you have the right to push back if you deem something is not gonna help your child. So parents in this situation need to know their rights and what they could accept or
And
not,
they could
and
ask
they could
for,
push back.
and they could ask for whatever they want. So
And the teachers, to be fair, I think most teachers, they have your kids' best interests at heart. Like they're not malicious or try to, they just sometimes don't know your kid as much as you know them. So maybe they underestimate something or overestimate something. So it's not malicious from their end. But that's why you, as a parent, you gotta, tell them this is what my kid actually needs. And usually we didn't see any major pushback from them or anything.
no,
Yeah.
and that's the teacher who told me about this.
Yeah.
It's not the teacher, it's the higher ups, not the teachers.
Yeah.
So the teacher who told me this, and she told me this when we were in my house, not even in the school. So I called for an IEP meeting and I told them I need her to be half. I want her with the general education kids, because I need her to learn, because they learn from each other kids. So they had her in a mixed class, so she would be in the other class no, she was in the general education class with somebody who would help her, an aide. So this is what I knew. I was like, oh my God, I did not know that when I was in Florida. If I knew, I could have went to public school and had somebody to help with that. I did not know that. They did not tell us.
Well, you said something
Yeah.
about resources and assigning the resources, and depends on the state, depends on the township, whatever. They might have better, funding for the program, the IEP program. As you said, they do have the class that is completely IEP, but then there are people, as you said, there's different levels there. So you can have fully functional with less functional, and so you
Yes.
can have a mix, and that can create, as you said, the regression concept, or at least copying some of that. But if you put them in a regular setting with additional assistance, additional time to
Yes.
test and things like that, it gives them the time frame to adjust accordingly, but they still get all the advanced. They're basically advancing at their own pace with a regular class, and so it makes it a difference. But you're right. If no one tells you, you're not going to know. And so thank you for sharing that with our audiences. Because, and by the way, again, this is a worldwide show. So for those that are watching from the U.S., if you didn't know, now you know. For those that are in
Yeah.
Canada, well, there's a
Yes.
lot of stuff we have to catch up, and maybe we'll do a second comeback with your partner and talk about the Canadian experience and maybe
Oh,
how
yes.
things can make a difference. And certainly today we're going to touch a little bit also on the Moroccan side, because I think your platform is going to be accessible to the world because it is online,
Yes.
and so people can really benefit from it. And we're going to shortly talk about how it
Yes.
works. You kind of alluded to some things. So now if I don't, how old is Yudula right now?
I know
She
she's
just turned 13.
13 on Saturday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But so certainly, as you said, she's open, she talks. I mean, she has her
Yeah.
own way, but she's direct, she does that, and she's come a long way in terms of the process with all the assistance. And by the way, just this is something that I know is that she can go to the IEP program all the way to high school, and they'll give her all
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
the help and assistance. And by the way, even in college, they don't
In
call it
college,
IEP.
yes, too.
They have
It's
programs
level
where they
4.
have
I
their
think
own
it's
testing.
yeah.
Yeah, they have all their own time where they put them without pressure. They just
Yes.
have to coordinate that with those departments. So there is that assistance available to a lot of people. So
There's a
if you
lot of
didn't know,
assistance. Yeah, they don't tell you a lot of things. You have a lot of rights, but not a lot of
well, the
people know
ADA
about
is
them.
is powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
the American Disabilities Act is just powerful. I mean, it's not new.
Yes.
It's got a lot of pieces to it for disability at all levels. And and of course it protects a lot of different categories.
And
And
they have, like, even schools, they like to have kids on the spectrum because they have more
well, they get
funding.
funding, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
they're more funded. Like, even if it's a district that doesn't have money, the federal government give them money for the autism classes. So we need to know, like, you need to get the money that's given to them for your kid. Other than that, they're not gonna use it for your kid if you don't know about it.
Mm.
You
Well,
need to know
I
there's
want to say
money for him. Yeah.
I live in Jersey, is one of the best, well, not the best, but the most high, the highest
Uh-huh.
tax states. I mean, we're, I think, the second after
Yes.
California. So you know what? You're paying that money. You might as well use some of it.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes, and yes.
Well,
Coming
you got
from
to advocate for
Florida,
it. Yeah.
which was like just federal taxes, you don't pay any, like,
Yeah,
this
correct.
is why the school there is
Yeah.
not that good, because it's like state funded, and they don't have like the state taxation. They're not taxed state on the statewide. So that was even harder in there. In Florida was really harder. And we were so lucky. We moved here in 2016. And when we moved, the services got worse. When I say got worse, it got worse.
Yeah.
Like, with my husband, because he was working and he has insurance through his employer, and we were in a tax bracket that we don't qualify for Medicaid. This is another thing people need to learn about. We did not qualify for Medicaid, of course. So I've been looking, and it was too much. And the ABA is so
Yeah.
expensive
And
because
with
it's
my
like
insurance, they were limiting the number of hours
like
she
she
needs.
needs like 10 hours a week. They're not gonna like
Yeah.
accept the 10 hours. They're gonna give you 5 hours, and you're gonna pay a lot of
We
money in
had
the
to fight
co-pays.
for it. We went like she spent like hours
Oh
on
my
the phone.
God. I used to drop my kid at school. I would go to the library, and I know them by names now on the phone. Whenever I call, it's like, hi, you again. It's like, yes, me. And I made friends with everybody. It was horrible.
So sometimes you had someone like you could talk to. They're nice. Sometimes you had to threaten them with the Florida Commissioner of Insurance.
Yes.
And this is something I learned. Like I didn't know that there was a title called Commissioner.
Yeah, this is kids make you learn a lot of things.
Yeah. So we use threats, we use friendliness, everything to get the help. But what we found eventually is even though with my income bracket didn't qualify me for Medicaid,
Kid care.
there is something called Medikids or Kid Care, and that was a program that was passed during Clinton administration.
Yeah,
it's basically so if you are in a certain income bracket where you're not you can't have Medicaid, but your kid has a disability or something, they could have it provided that you pay the full insurance price. So I had my insurance, and then I had to pay this other insurance.
It was not much,
but it wasn't much. It was like
$200,
$200, and
whatever.
it covered
it was
everything.
$176 a month, but it covered.
Very good memory.
I know because I was counting the money. So like it covers everything from dental, from anything, and it was was life.
Yes. So some other families with lower income, they usually, some of them pay like $20, some of them pay nothing.
They pay nothing.
Yes,
some
but
of
I
them
had
pay
to pay the
nothing.
full price, which was actually quite affordable, to be honest.
It was so affordable, not quite, because less than 2 times. When we were still paying it out of pocket, every half an hour for speech therapy, we would pay $60, $60. And she has it twice a week. So we have $120 a week. So now we're paying $175 for the whole thing. And we go and come. And even with the ABA, they covered everything. I did not have to pay a dime. That was the dream, especially after the year we had before. I was like, seriously? And I remember I used to take her to speech, and I would wait in the waiting room, and I see people come and go, and they don't go and pay like I do. And I was always like, okay, why?
How is that possible?
What's happening in here? Then I knew when I came back the next year and I went and came out, I did not pay anything. Life.
Well, it's just, I mean, I've worked actually in that program. I mean, that's national. I mean, the CHIP programs, every state runs them differently, but they're the same. Yeah. So I was doing that since '93, and once a lot of people in New York, CHIP programs, And but you're right. I mean, even and I call it like a commercial, program, because technically,
Yeah.
it's based on your income. There's a premium that you pay, but it's not a lot, but it covers everything. And yeah, you're right. There's free. Well, not there's nothing free. We don't call it free.
No, it's
No
not. The
cost.
insurance pays
Yeah,
for it.
exactly. No
So
cost to it,
free for
to you
me.
as
Yeah.
exactly no cost to you. But also there is different level, as you said, tier one, two,
Mhm.
three, whatever. But even at the max, you can have multiple kids and only cap a certain rate with it, and
Yes.
Yeah.
that's it. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool programs. And believe me, I mean, actually, we did a show about it. Like one of our Moroccan
As
friends,
you should
Oh,
Monteza,
have. Thank you so much
we did
because a
that.
lot
We
of
did.
people don't know. Yes.
Yeah, we did it. We did this like literally during COVID time.
That's even, it's even better.
Yeah, we did.
People
Well,
were tuned. Yes.
but you know what it is, as you said. So Medicaid is unfortunately it's available, but it's very limited. In terms
Limited.
of their income levels. I mean, you practically have to make almost nothing to be qualified. Now there are tricks
Yes.
around it, and we actually did shows about that too, like how to
How to,
get how to qualify for Medicaid. Differently
mm,
based on
yeah.
assets and things like that. So there's a lot of ways to navigate. But you're right. If you don't do the education or look for
Mhm.
things and search, or at least listen to
Yeah.
discussions like this, you may not know. So the more we do of this, the more, I mean, we educate, and you
Yeah,
do,
I know. I
and
know.
you
That
easy
was the
educate.
idea. That was the idea. I remember when ChatGPT started, like even last year when they started the GPTs,
Hmm.
I did my own GPT called I did not finish it yet.
confused
Confused
parents.
parents.
Yeah.
Well, I started, but I stopped, I think, at number and letter C. So just Colorado, I think. I told them everything, what to do, where to go. So I went state by state. If you are in this state, this is where you can get early intervention, and this is how you can get the help with the IEP. Because in the IEP, something else that some need people need to know, you have the right to bring an advocate with you. It could be anybody. So you could even have a teacher with you from another school, but she's going to be your advocate in there. So you have the right to bring people with you. If you don't understand, you get somebody who does understand. So that was something I wanted to add in there to help people. But I stopped at letter D, and we had a lot of work on our platform. And I was like, you know what? Let's do this one now.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to the other one later.
Oh, so well, first of all, just on that note, you're right. I mean, the that actually ChatGPT 4 now. I mean, if you ask it that question, it'll give you 50 states with every
Yeah.
county and everything. You can get even a spreadsheet or a code that you can actually use in the
Yes.
Python, and
Mhm.
and have your own presentation about all that and give it to. I mean, I love that thing. It's like my best friend. We hang
Mm.
Yeah,
out
I
every day.
know.
But yeah, so that I mean, you have to love. I mean, AI is gonna really make love. I mean, it depends
A
on how
lot
you
of
look at it.
good. Yes. Yes.
There's a lot of good to it. Maybe it's going to impact a lot of areas, but there's a lot of talk about that. That's a whole different chapter and discussion.
Yeah,
But
that
so
is
now,
true.
let's talk about this. So you did
Yeah.
this of
Yeah.
of love for your daughter, and
Yeah.
really making a difference in her world, and giving her the accessibility to live in a life, that is
Mhm.
accessible to everything, communication and everything, in a very normalized way, if you want to call it that way.
Yeah.
Although, as we discovered, as we defined, that normal is just a question
Yeah, I know.
mark, like who's what. We cannot discuss that. I mean, because
Yeah.
technically, everybody has their own way of looking in the world, and really that's what it is.
Mm.
And that's why we sometimes, I do things differently. You do things differently,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
yeah, we might have some standardized stuff, even colors. I mean, it's funny. I joke about this with my friends, and I say, if we look at someone, I mean, how many times you hear someone like, oh, you see one thing, it's like, oh, I like that thing, and they're like, oh, that's ugly, and
It's
literally,
yeah, that's
we look
subjective.
at
I know.
two of us are looking at the same thing, and just one of us sees it not really that exciting, and the other one sees, and that's really what it is. So we basically live in that world in a way, in just different aspect of it. But you did something beyond, because you wanted to put tools to
Yeah.
assist her in comprehension and
Yes.
education and stuff. And so you decided to do this. Now, not everybody, as I said, not
Yeah.
everybody has a problem and figures out a solution. And not only, see, because there's a big deal about creating something, inventing something, or putting something together. I think overall, people try to look at what's available, but
Yes.
there are times where there is nothing available, and you have to create something to fill that void, right? And the gap. You guys did that. Now, I don't know your background. I think you covered Iqbal. You
Yeah.
covered a little bit about
A
you,
little
but
bit.
but
Yes.
Karima, you didn't say anything
Yes,
about
a little
your
bit.
work. But the fact is, you were able to design a platform that is
Yes.
educational, specifically designed for people with some sort of level of autism spectrum. And by the way, as I saw the demo at the videos, it's pretty cool, and it is very easy to stuff. So why don't you share with us the design behind it and what it does as a platform, where it is available, and how can people access it?
Yeah, okay. So you want me to talk about the platform? How?
Yeah, how
Yeah,
like before I do that, I need to emphasize something first before we do anything. This guy, I was so lucky, and I always say that. I'm so lucky. I had a partner that was understanding. I know a lot of like when kids get diagnosed, a lot of couples they end up with like either divorce or they would be fighting, and not like the kid is not the center. It's them because it's like nature. What would people say? What it's your fault. Like with him we put her in the center of everything. We helped because he could make enough money for both of us. I gave up my career. I didn't have a career. My career was her.
yeah,
You know why it was her and I gave her everything? It's because he could like be the one working outside of the house. And it was really hard for him at first because like with moms, the way I see it is like you're a mom. So you're gonna care for the kid, gonna do a lot of things. For dads, it's harder. They feel useless. They don't know what to do or what to say. He started to be super involved with her when she started talking, and he started with the education thing. And I was lucky because he's so smart. So both
oh,
of them.
thank you. Yeah, but just to give
So
you, I mean, likewise, that's the same kind of feelings. Like I feel like I have a partner, not only a wife. We're in this together. And just to give you an idea, like she made a huge sacrifice for her career. Like literally, at some point, she was driving 700 miles a
yeah,
week. Just
I was a truck
yeah,
driver by the way.
yeah, because she would go like 20 miles to this therapy center, speech therapy, and then she would stay and then go to another therapy center. So at some point, it just adds up.
I know we
It
used
was
to live in Orlando, and the traffic
yeah,
in
we moved
Orlando.
from Tampa to Orlando, so it was
The
like
traffic was
crazy.
crazy. So even like that, I'm just wanted to say, just for parents, when the kid gets diagnosed, just like mute everything around you, just the kid. And I tell him all the time, I don't think we could be this successful if we stayed back home. If we were in Morocco and we have a kid on the spectrum, then like the aunt, the dad, the mom, the neighbor, the like the
The
mark,
butcher.
the
The
butcher,
store,
everybody
yeah.
would be like giving their
Everybody's got an
advice.
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody would be talking. Everybody would be, oh, what are you talking about? She's fine. Give her time. Like, and even that, like, it's gonna be a lot of problems. We were lucky because it was just the two of us and her in the middle. So we gave her everything. And if you see her now, she knows that I'm gonna be on a podcast. You know what she was talking about the whole time? I need to do this with your hair, and don't forget to do this with your hair. And when you talk, and she was giving me like pointers on what to talk about. And she knows everything about her condition. She knows everything. She was even helping us with the EZDUCate. Whatever we do, she was actually, I used her like, come, this is for you. So I need to use it on you and see if it's working.
Yeah,
So this is what I wanted just to say that
yeah,
like a PSA for people. If your kid is diagnosed, it's about the kid, not about you.
yeah. And then
Well,
I'll circle back to your question.
Yes.
hold that thought. So,
Yeah.
because I appreciate what you guys did there, because, it is important to take a moment, because whenever there is a situation, with children specifically, right, the parents are usually, at the helm of all this, right? They run this. And you're right. Sometimes the first movement or shaking stuff in life can destroy a family, and people go apart and it becomes crazy. And I love the concept that you introduced, the idea that it's not about you, it's about her, and putting her in the center and focusing on her and working as a team. And yes, there are sacrifices that need to be made, and that's and so culturally, you know sometimes people may not accept it that way. Maybe they see it's your responsibility, it's my responsibility. When you are a couple, this is not a couple show or relationship show, but at the end of the day, it is what makes couples, is that the idea is they're a unit, they're one or the other. It's like a yin and yang, one complements the other, and you work. And when you have a situation like this, and you're right, this happens in a lot of things, not just in the
Yeah.
case of health. It can happen in
Yeah,
finances. If something happens, boom.
everything.
We've actually have shows about, we have actually a recurrent show called the Resilient Relationship Show, and it's about marriages that make it years and years and years, and how they make it through all the difficult times, right? And it's because
Yeah.
there's some parts of it that goes there. So thank you for doing that, of being for your daughter, and willingly, and yes, you give up your career path, but for a good reason. It's a sacrifice. And by the way, spoken like a woman, like a mother, because I think mothers. Listen,
It's not a
I,
sacrifice.
I,
That's
I, I have
go
I have
without
three
saying.
women in my life: my mom, my wife, my daughter. And you know
Oh,
what?
you're so
Yeah. So,
lucky.
God
but
bless.
you, well,
Yeah.
thank you. But it's funny. It is unique. Like
Yeah.
my
Yes.
wife and I, we're a team. But yeah, you're right. We're different in the way we approach things. Like, but moms are always gonna do more, and they sacrifice, because it's. I mean, they designed that way. And by the way, that's a
You know
plus.
what?
That
Because
is,
we
yeah.
don't you don't see it as sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice. This
Well,
is what you are supposed to be
we
doing, actually.
you're
Yeah,
supposed to, but it is. You could be. I
yeah,
mean, we have elements of selfishness even in the
Yeah.
yeah,
parenting,
Yeah.
yeah.
right?
That
Where
is true.
people,
That is
like
true. Yeah,
kids, can do myself, me, myself, and I kind of concept, right? But we
yeah.
don't have that, and typically a mom will do whatever it takes. By the way, dads too. So it's not taking
Yeah,
away from the
that's
Yes.
dads,
true. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
but we do it differently. Like, so my approach, like you're right. You go in to break, the bread and butter, and you are taking a business home,
Yes.
and together we're making it work. Because you have to kind of shift the responsibilities and work together as again, teamwork, right? Makes the dream work.
Yeah.
And you did that. So again, I just wanted to highlight that, because I think that's beautiful to hear,
And
and I
it's
love the
I'm
way
so
you give
proud of
credits to each
what we
other.
made. Like if you see our daughter, like anybody who knows us, like they see she's progressing every time they see her. Oh my God, she speaks a lot better. Now she doesn't stop talking. And she was nonverbal until she turned 3. So like it's not a waste. But don't get me wrong, I did not get it right the first time. I remember when she started the stimming thing. She would the rocking,
Hand
the
clapping,
hand
all.
flapping, I was like, so I'm not embarrassed. I did not put a name on it. So when we are outside, I would ask her to stop. And then like it went, I think about so a couple months like that. And once I stopped and I was like, okay, does it hurt her? No. Is she happy? Yes. So you're doing it for you because it bothers you. Because
Mm.
socially it's not acceptable. So I had to look inwards. And you know what I started to do? I stim with her. Whenever she does it, I do it and we laugh. So that because I made it so easy and she stopped a lot of things. She was doing like this
Yeah.
all the time. She stopped doing that. She still has the rocking thing, she still has it. And we do it with her sometimes. Her
Yeah.
dad does it with her.
Yeah.
And you
It's
know
kind of
what?
fun.
It's fun.
Well,
It's
it's
really
funny.
fun.
It's funny you
Yeah.
said that, because for people, if I see you doing it with your child, I will understand
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're working with that. But if you are completely like, hey, stop that and
Yeah.
do this, and that, then you basically are almost claiming that that is a wrong
This is not
behavior.
okay. Yeah.
Exactly. So by you kind of working with her with it, publicly speaking, there's no embarrassment or nothing, because people will understand that. I mean, they certainly can. I mean, now I get it. People judge for
And not even
simple
outside. I'm
things.
talking inside the house, not even
Oh, okay.
outside. I would do it with her every time and everywhere. And
But
I'm a
can it
little
be
bit
a
cuckoo,
practice?
actually. That helps. I'm still a child inside.
Yeah.
I never grew up. So that helps too. And another thing I would tell all parents to do, never treat them as less than or poor. He cannot do this because he has this. If it's not a physical thing, a physical problem, he can do it, he will do it. I've never treated my kid as an autistic kid. I've always treated her like a kid. That's it. So suck it up, buttercup, all the time. And she knows that.
Another bonus point for you.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. I mean, again,
Yeah.
listen, you're giving real advice that is not by book stuff. It's really by practice stuff
Now
that
bye
you've
practice.
used, that there's actually, has some merits, has, demonstrated results that are actually working, and they've made the difference in her life. And you're right.
Yeah.
Your child is your child, and that's all that matters. And listen, everybody wants to have best every single thing about their kids, no matter how,
Yeah.
what environment you come from, what country you have, what culture, what religion. We all want the best for our children, and we want to do the stuff. How we go about it, that may be a question mark for a lot of different, ways or reasons.
Depends, like different ways. It doesn't matter. Do it your way. You don't have to do it the same way I did. But just
Exactly.
keep in mind that that kid is as normal as they come. They have the same things as the other kids. They have the same. They express themselves differently, but you
That's
need
it.
to
Language. It's a
learn.
language way. It's the way
Yeah,
they, yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
different way.
learn how. Like you're gonna learn how where they are happy. They're not gonna do the same thing as the other normal kids, or if we call them normal, the other kids. But
That's
still,
the other
like
kids.
just do it your way. I'm just saying, don't treat them less than. They're full people. They have everything.
Well, one thing in that aspect, I mean, when talking about spectrum and stuff, and you mentioned this earlier, is that we always have this almost connotation that when we talk autism, we talk that they're less, smart or skilled. But you clearly said it earlier that actually some of this is genius. I mean, literally, they actually have
Yes.
a genius level of a lot of things. They absorb information differently. They can give information differently, and again, there are models of folks with the spectrum that actually are succeeding in the world in different areas. Now, again, as
Yeah.
mentioned, I've met some of those folks, and they're great at what they do, and they're really beyond what someone can. You judge them, you
Yeah.
can't even do the stuff that they do. That's how great they are and what they do. But
Yeah,
thank you.
that is true.
Now I know, Iqbal, you wanted to say something, but we kind of
Um,
got into this
Yeah,
this
I'm
no,
this
no, no,
sorry.
that's
family
fine.
thing.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
this is not, I was just going with the flow, and this is actually very interesting to bring up. But you had a question about how the platform started
Sorry.
and all these things.
Yes.
So when my daughter started getting therapies, I was observing what the therapists were doing. So, and I found lots of what they do is basically based on visual cues. And so if you go, for example, to Amazon, you could Google something like flashcards for speech therapy or like ABA therapy. And so the therapists would use these. They sell them also to parents. Sometimes they have to draw by hand. So the problem with these flashcards, they're ridiculously expensive. So you get a pack of cards that's like $40. Sometimes they're cheaper, but they're very restricted. For example, and this is an example I come back to every time. For example, if you show the kid like a red car from a flashcard, it's hard for them to, they might think that car refers to the color red. So to generalize the concept of car, you got to show them a green car, a red car, a blue car, and so on, until they figure that one word is for the color concept and the other word is actually for
Oh,
the
car.
vehicle.
Mm.
And so that's the challenge. The problem with these existing flashcards, they're expensive, they're not very realistic. So most often they're cartoonish, and they make the assumption that all kids actually figure that a cartoon of a car is actually a car. A lot of them don't.
They don't. They don't
Yeah,
generalize.
and so and I was thinking back then, I was if there was a way to automate these things, and I could come up with different kind of colors for flashcards. And back then, 2014, 2015, AI just started being a thing, but there wasn't, the technology was not there yet, and I didn't have the bandwidth to work on it. To be honest, and then in 2022, there was one open source, one of the first, maybe 2 years before, you started
Also
seeing
2020.
publications about image generators from text. So there was some publication by Facebook, Meta now, and Google. They have these models, but they were not available to public. And then there was some open source project which started to like get some tractions, and I use it. And back then it wasn't that good, but it was good enough for flashcards. So I was thinking maybe we could use this, repurpose it to generate custom flashcards where the therapist could generate all sorts of flashcards for kids. And then that's how the concept started. It was really a very primitive kind of prototype. I showed it to my wife Karima and to our partner Meriyem, And that's how we started. Like I told them, I think this would be, look at the price of flashcard, look how limited they are. I think we could customize this. And then as we started working on it, other stuff came up. You had the large language models, ChatGPT, and then I found out that these two could be used for other purposes, like speech therapy, for visual, mathematical teaching. So we started this platform around making everything visual and accessible to kids. And so right now we have developed, we're actually currently, I mean, it's a small team. We just hired someone to help us, and I'm getting some help from some of our partners. But it's still limited by how much we could achieve. So we want eventually to scale, get investors and so on. But we achieved lots of good things so far. So we've been able to get a pilot with one of the ABA therapy centers in here in Alexandria and one in Canada. And we have three versions. So there's the ABA therapy version. There's the school version, which is not quite ready yet because of all the regulation. There's things about the problem with the autism is you have to respect many regulations. Like you have FERPA for education, like student data. You have to make these private, and also you have to respect HIPAA because autism is also a healthcare issue. So it's also protected medical data. So we're still working on the school version, and then there's the parent version, which we hope to release on February 6th. So almost a month, less than a month from now. So I don't know if you had did he have any overview for the platform?
I sent him the video that I should have
yeah.
sent. Yes.
I don't know if we have time, but maybe we could have we could have a demo, a live demo.
Yeah, you please. You can share. You can share. I can give you the access. You can share it with the.
Yeah,
If you have access to it now, yeah.
I already have
Yeah.
it.
And by the way, while you do that, let me get you the ability to share, and you already have that. But here's the thing. I mean, listen to you. I love it. I mean, you've seen stuff that was already in the action, but you noticed that there's a limitation to it.
Yes.
And then you add all that to the custom. I love what you're doing, the pilots or the prototype format, in different areas, and you test it in literally two different countries. And
we get feedback from therapists too, so they help us improve the platform. So basically, they say maybe this part is useless, maybe this part you need to increase more emphasis on this one. So it was really a very helpful experience.
We are in the business of customizing everything for the kids. So now we're working on customizing it for the centers too. So whatever they need it for. So it's amazing. I use it with my daughter all the time. So it's not this is how I told you before. I'm using her. It's like, this is for you. And she talks about it all the time. No, she talks about it in school. She said,
"Oh, it's a partner. She's your partner."
She is. Let me see. It's
well, Iqbal is doing that. I mean, I love that concept because I mean, yes, she can relate to it. She's using it as a visual, platform for her. That gives you guys almost a live demonstration of how things work in real time, and you get to tweak things as needed. And certainly, you are progressing in it. And again, like every big idea, it starts small, it starts in progress and stages. Eventually, you're big. I mean, right now, ChatGPT is 4.0. Soon we'll have probably a 5.0. I don't know, but these things are evolving rapidly, and so are all other forms. And as long as you're working on these things to improve, you're gonna get the actual outcomes that you want. And frankly, you guys are doing it now with the school, with the therapists and individuals. So you have different angles, and as you said, you will compile a lot of information and data that you can do better with it. So whenever you're ready, you can share. You have the ability.
I'm gonna switch. Go.
All right, let's do this. And again, this thing is not. I think when this takes big, it's going to be all over. Everybody can use this. And
so I'm trying. Let me see if you could see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it. We can see it.
Yeah, so this is our demo version. Just full disclosure here, this is more R&D kind of, so there are some bugs, there are some glitches here and there, so it's not what we're gonna give the parents eventually. There are different versions, but this is our demo version, which we demo for investors and centers before. So initially we had like you could log in as a therapist, parent as admin, but we made it also simple, so you could just log in with your Google. We're
Yes.
also working on iCloud integration and also Microsoft integration. So you could, most users are lazy, including myself. So when I wanna like if you go to a new website and there's something excited, usually you want it to be very easy, and that includes myself. We try to make it very convenient. So gonna log in here. This is what the platform looks like. So we have some models, and the emphasis here again is on the visual part. So, for example, for the kids, like when I was trying to study with my daughter, because she had the speech delay, so it was really hard for her to understand math word problems.
Yeah.
So based on my experience with her, I was able to teach her using visual cues. Like I had to literally draw stuff and use sometimes an iPad screen or whatnot. And based on that experience, I know what's effective, and I try to replicate this in this platform. For example, this math word problem here. So there's already like a demo problem that you could use. So for example, Adriana has 15 pieces of gum to share with her friend. When she went to the park, she shared 5 pieces of strawberry gum. When she left the park, blah, 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 she had 3 pieces. So it's an addition problem where subtraction. So she shared, and then you want to know how much is left. So you do it.
It's okay. I can say like with the kids on the spectrum, most of them they know how to do math, but comprehension is not. They don't understand everything. So if you give them just the numbers, they would get it 100%. But if you give them a word problem, how would they understand if they don't understand what you mean by that sentence?
Yeah.
So this is what it does in here.
Yeah. So here it does like analyzing the problem. And basically, it breaks down the word problem into smaller pieces. So for example, here, and this is something I did with my daughter, so it works. Like I tell her, try to figure first who's in the word problem. So it could be here, Adriana, she's a female, and it uses an emoji. So in her head, she imagines that there's a girl named Adriana, and the friends, we don't know their gender, so it's not available. And then what are the objects in this word problem? You have gum, so you have 15 gums, and then we have emojis. So they could literally visualize what we're talking about. And then strawberry gum, 5. And then it breaks it into smaller questions. The simplified explanation, Adriana has 15 pieces. She shared 5 pieces. And then you show them the math. So first they need to imagine all these things. And that's the problem in word problems. Like they get so confused. There are so many words. And using this method here, you break it into smaller concepts that they could digest. And then once you give them this visualization, it's easier to work with them on those. So that's one model. There's another model which, for example, the assisted reading. And here we have this word here, and I choose this word because this word is basically a word that's hard for me to pronounce. So
I think that's hard for a lot of people.
yeah. So
I
what
don't know
you
how
do
they
here,
chose, but yeah.
yeah. So what I do here, you put a word. For example, you could do a pronunciation practice. So you click on
Can you
this.
say it?
Procrastinate.
Got
And that I learned it from.
We learned it from here, by the way. Now we say it. No, I'll give you one even better. Procrastination.
Procrastinate. Okay.
Did
Yeah, let's.
addition.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah. So we can do pronunciation practice. It's gonna break it into what we call phonemes. So these are like, sorry.
Do the sound.
Yeah, let's do it again. I broke it here. Yeah. Procrastination. So it looks, it breaks it into smaller phonemes and then we do a highlight.
Ah,
I
nice.
don't know if you could hear the voice.
I did.
So yeah, so that's more for speech therapists. It's also like we're working on, I forgot what they call it. There's like a phonetic language that you see in the dictionary. I forgot what they call it, but it's
sounds.
yeah. When we met Bethany, so we met this lady, a speech therapist, and she said it would be useful if you add
How to pronounce, like
the notation. So we're working on that. And then I'm gonna go to this, for example, this model here. Do you have an image?
Yeah, I do. You're gonna find it.
Yeah, okay. There. So here sometimes one of the exercises that ABA and speech therapists do is they would bring a picture and then they would try to help the kid to describe it or ask question about it. So this facilitates their work. So for example, do you have a
test?
So
EZDUCATE testing.
Which one is it? Evening. Yeah.
The picture.
Yeah,
you want one of the.
Yeah, one of the pictures.
Let's do this one.
Okay. Yeah. And here you could write something like ask 3 questions about this picture for a kid or a 7 years old kid in the autism spectrum with speech challenges, for example. Challenge, challenge it. Okay, analyze. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the ones that's broken, unfortunately.
No, I think because of the picture, because this is a flashcard. That's a flashcard
No,
that already did.
no, that's a technical problem. It's we fixed it for the center version. We just never had the chance to do it here. So, but basically, it would give you like a text about this image and give you like
questions.
The questions and but I think there was a bug here which I fixed it somewhere else, but not here. That's why I gave the disclosure.
It's all good. Well, first of all, just looking at it, I mean, this is a super resource with different levels that you can give to parents, as you said, therapists, and kids will have the access to it and be able to practice and get closer to communicating in a different way or easier way.
Yeah. And this one is actually one of our best features. It's basically can do anything, almost anything you could imagine. It has visuals. So it's like a chat GPT on steroids, like because it can do also visual stuff. For example, create a lesson plan for the area of the circle and use visual aids. So I will click on this.
Here we go.
Yeah. And this is a lesson plan for the area of the circle. Then it explains the formula. And then you could print it, save it. But let's say, let's say you didn't like something, you could follow up. Can you make the circle larger,
older,
and yellow?
Okay.
Yellow again.
That reminds me of this song.
Say yellow all the time.
Yeah, we have this disagreement in colors. Okay. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah. So it does lots of these things. You could say, prepare a lesson plan about the global warming and use visual aids. Okay, I see what's happening.
Because you asked it to remember.
Yeah, I asked the context to remember. Yeah. So it kept the history. Okay, all I need.
Just to make it short, why don't you show him just the flashcards?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh. Okay.
And we use this with our daughter, everything here. For the math problems, my husband like taught her how to do multiplication with like making eggs.
Yeah, I'm gonna show him. Actually, that was gonna be my.
I'll go with you next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have that video. I don't have it in the computer, but you can share that one too. So that's a pretty visual of how it's real used by your daughter.
Yeah. So yeah, this creates like a lesson plan about like global warming, and it generates pictures. Like for example, this last part is about rising sea level. So it shows you like ice melting, and so it creates textual and also image content. So this helps also teachers to prepare, their material faster. And yeah, now back to autism. This is how I taught my daughter like multiplication, and I'm gonna describe it here. I'm trying to teach at 4 years.
Yeah, and that video you watched, she was 8 years old in there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was like that was I think at 8 she started to speak in full sentences. That was new.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it was super exciting. Now she does not.
You can
stop talking.
Circle, two circles, and inside each circle, 3 dots. Then ask the.
So now he's gonna like whatever he used to do with her just on the whiteboard. Now he's gonna ask AI to do it for her.
Try to generate.
I love AI. It's gonna make a whole
I don't know how we lived without it before.
Oh, we had to do a lot of work.
Yeah, I know.
Now it makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
It makes life easier.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So this is literally, but I did it by hand. Like I drew like circles. And basically I would tell her to count like 2 times 3 is 2 eggs, and inside each eggs there are like 3 dots, and then I tell her count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that way she understood the concept of multiplication. So you could, this is very very flexible. You could do many things with this tool. And then last part is the flashcards, right? Yeah, AI creativity tool. For example, here, I'm going to just generate one flashcard, but...
Yeah, you tell us what you want to see. Like, let your imagination go wild.
Flashcard?
Yes, anything.
Traveling to Morocco.
Going to Morocco.
There you go.
Okay.
Who is traveling to Morocco?
It's fine. I think we
Family traveling to Morocco.
You are?
Okay, so could do this.
Like in this, I used it for my friend, our friends here.
Okay, so that's the stereotype. So AI. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, but let me show you something more practical, which, for example, let's say, for example,
my mind is in trouble right now.
A violin.
Amal, my daughter, you know what she did? Like now she learned idioms, and she wrote in it like, it's raining cats and dogs. And they made her like a girl walking with cats and dogs coming out of the sky. And she was
Ah,
so happy with that. She was laughing.
So here I put like a red violin. It reminds me of a movie, but
comes.
This picture is beautiful, actually.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
Oh
now
wow,
you
look at
could
that.
also do generate sound. Yeah. So you get sound also like, and this is very useful for in ABS centers. Like they want to associate like images with sounds they make. Uh, and
It's good for animals. Like, how do they sound? Like, what did we use it
yeah.
last time?
This is the last word. This helps with comprehension. Like I could put like some text from, let's say Wikipedia or something, and you could ask a question uh, about the text. Who
He's Isaac Newton.
is mentioned in this
Okay.
text, and rewrite it in simpler English. Okay, and you could also summarize. Okay, so yeah.
Can you do the reader? Can you take it to the one that's the text to speech?
Yeah, you could you could copy this again. Should we this single word that
Oh yeah, see that one is good too for
Yeah.
comprehension. Yeah.
So you could put that also in the assisted reading instead of pronunciation practice. You could like just read it. So
It kind of reads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reads for you. Normally, in the next version, we have the text to.
Yeah. Yeah, because I clicked on bot it
You
twice.
did twice.
Yeah. But last part, so we have also some statistics about the usage over time, and these are per student, which currently we don't have. Because for schools, therapy centers, data is very is key. Even when they deal with like insurance and like regulatory organizations, they need to have data to back whatever, like maybe an insurance claim or whatever. So data is very important. So here you could probably explain this one better than me.
Yeah, okay.
Because that was when we worked on the tool, we were brainstorming, and what she didn't tell you is like she spent hundreds of hours on webinars about special education.
Education in general.
Yeah. So and took notes, and that helped us also like drive the platform and the feature.
So what we, as I said, we were in the business of finding solutions. So to find solution, you have to have problems, right? So I did research and I knew, like, I figured out all the problems like in education they have in general education, not even just special education. So like for comprehension and reading, they have a problem even with the kids that's supposed to be normal. Especially after the pandemic, like the people stay, like kids stayed home. Their reading was like hurting, really hurting. Like a kid in fourth grade, he reads at the second grade level. They have a problem with that. So I was like looking for things like here in we have fast. We can do the word web, and it gives you like the speed. It's speed. It tells you like all the words that are for fast.
Yeah, they're kind of related to fast.
Run
Different
fast.
context of using the word.
Context. It's like yeah, it has to do with like in here we have the word fast in health related for blood test, fast for medical procedures, liveliness. It gives you like the word fat in a lot of like context, not just one. As I
Well,
said, the kid, yes.
What I know, I mean, again, this actually is beyond. I mean, I think this could be a tool for everyone
Yes.
that wants to
Yeah,
learn
it
something. 'Cause
started with an emphasis on flashcards, and then as we progressed, we were
Yeah.
like, we could help.
Same word.
Yeah.
We have the word spectrum.
Yeah, that one occasionally crashes. So
Okay, let's go synonyms and antonyms.
Yeah.
So it's gonna give you the synonym of fast, like have quick, speedy, rapid, swift, hastily. And then the antonym slow, leisurely, gradually, and it's good for the kids, even for their vocabulary. So it helps
Well,
even with the writing. Yes.
that's why I said this is everybody can actually. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
learning, at early age, this could work. I mean, for many, it's not even. I
Yes.
mean, it certainly will help the anyone on the spectrum level or spectrum, the autism spectrum. But at the same time, I think anybody can use this, as a tool. I mean, I'll go even beyond that. I mean, this could be for English as a second language,
Yeah, this is
to
what
help
we're
people.
doing it. Thank you for saying that, because this is our next endeavor. It's for Morocco, actually, for like centers where they do English as a second language. It's gonna help a lot, because as I said, language is like kids when they start learning things. So if you're learning a new language, whatever works for the kid in pre-K or kindergarten would work for a grown-up. So let's see here. Allow a visitor in the site. Okay.
Yeah, I think
And it has the dictate part, so you can put a whole text in here.
Yeah.
And you could even tell the like underline this word, and you can use all of these.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
You
and
guys
it's
are
actually
onto
about your
something.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, because I was talking here.
Yeah.
I know you click
Hi,
dictate,
how
so
are you? Because I dictated. Yes, and then we can take it from here.
Yeah.
I love to do this. Where's the other one that
Yes, assisted
go?
reading. Yeah.
Assisted reading. Yes, I put it here.
Yeah.
then you read
Let
it.
me see how I sound.
No, well, that's yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Takes a while to.
Oh, okay.
So you can put a whole text in here, and you could even tell to underline this word, and you can use all.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's actually wrote your stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff. Okay, this is not even a word.
Oh,
But still, like for the flashcard part, it's something like about the kids on the spectrum. They love to be useful. They love it. And they love to be in control of what they're doing. So what I do with my daughter, even with the flashcards, I give her, like I tell her, what do you want to see? What do you want to talk? Because she had a hand in making them. She's more interested when we go to the other part that says the when she reads the picture. She loves it better because she was the one who wrote whatever she wrote about how to get that picture. So it could be used by parents, teachers, therapists, and even like the kid if they're grown up enough. Like for my daughter, she could use it herself. But for now, it's just for parents. And we have the
This
next version that's coming. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a lot of help.
Yeah, we call it V3. Just because the first version, like I said, was a prototype, so it was really ugly from a user
Yeah, I can show you
interface perspective. We have this is V2, and we're also gonna have V3, which is still in under development, which is she's gonna demo it for you now.
Yeah, we're gonna have the V3 for the parents in like February 6th, which they won't have all the features. They're gonna get just 4 features because they're not gonna, we don't wanna overwhelm them. So it's gonna be just 4 features that
Yeah.
are helpful. This is the V3, how it's gonna look like.
So it has more stuff.
So in here we have like ABA and behavior, and we have everything that goes with that. And we're even working on a version that would let the parents use whatever the ABA centers use. And normally like it would help them while they are in a waiting list, which I'm like currently in a waiting list with Amal. They just sent me, by the way, email today.
Oh, okay.
They said, are you still interested? So that we could keep you in the waiting list. So that it's a valuable time that you're losing when you are on a wait list for an ABA center. What if you have something that whatever they're using, you can use it for them? Like in here, we have the reading intervention that would like tell you what the kid is. There's assessment in here and show you what to do with the kid to improve their reading and comprehension. There's
Social story is a good big one.
Yeah, image analyzer. There's a lot of things. All of these, we're just trying to, we're not gonna give everything to everybody because it's a lot of information at once. So let them like get used to some things and know how to use it. Then we can add things. So it's the non-stop learning platform. So you will be getting more about like not just what you have now. So that was it. That was the portion of the demo. Let's see, is there
Excellent.
anything else? That's it,
Well, no,
right?
yeah. If you have the video, you want to play that video quickly, that would be
Oh
great
yeah,
too.
yeah. I
Yeah.
can do it.
If that's okay. Uh,
Yes, of course. I
Which
have it here on YouTube.
YouTube? Okay.
Go ahead.
Is it under your channel or
It's under Ashraf's channel.
I say EZDUCATE Showcase YouTube. Is
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
one?
because that was, and it's like even the team, we have an amazing team, like all geniuses in their fields. And we have a lot of PhDs in here, show offs. All of them are PhDs. Yes, I know. Here, so I don't
yeah, I think yeah.
videos in there.
No, that's not the one.
And how many does he have?
Did he send it to you?
Yeah, I have it on my what's that?
Yeah. Okay.
You can talk to each other while I'm doing that.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay. Wait a second. So like we have like his one of our like employees for now. It's his brother, but he's our employee for now. He has a PhD in economics, and he's a fluent speaker of Japanese. So he has like, and he's using EZducate in his classes.
Wow.
Yeah, he's using it, and he says it's working.
No, I mean, looking at it, I mean, just for the short demo, it has a lot of opportunity there for a
Yeah.
lot of different areas and levels. And I mean, ultimately, it could be used multiple ways. That I can see already, like the multi-use of it, and how it can help a lot of people, different areas. And it just you guys did phenomenal there in terms of like what you put it in there. As how long did it take you to put it together?
2 years and a
2 years.
half.
Yeah, we started in
Yeah.
2022,
We
basically.
started 2022. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's already like amazing, and I'm sure as you guys produce the next level versions of it, it's going to be more and more appealing and exciting.
Yeah.
So
But
congrats
it's
on it.
research, like from my like my side, like more than a year and a half of research in everywhere. Like
Again, you
teachers.
put a comprehensive level of things there that are all useful, for
Yes.
parents, therapists, everybody, to be able to use it and literally use it, learn from it.
Yes, yes. Like I'm telling you, it's something that's gonna catch. It's gonna help a lot of people. Like I used it like um for me, whatever I saw my daughter struggling with, we found something to help her with that, and it's working.
Listen, you're seeing firsthand. I mean, that, and that's the thing. Like you can see how it's making a difference. And the other thing is that there's not enough of this stuff available in one place, and you put it all in one place. That's the key. It's one stop
Yes.
shop, if you want to call it that way.
Especially for Morocco, like my heart breaks for that. Like, don't forget about the culture too. As I told you last time we were talking, it's not just the Moroccan culture, Asian culture too. It's not this like all the, if you're like apart from the Western world, they don't accept that. Mental health doesn't make sense for them. It's like, suck it up.
Oh, it's
You're
yeah.
just
Well,
weak.
it's just how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's different levels there. We can go religious there because we believe that things are happening for a reason. I mean, there's different ways to look at it, but you're right. It's something that people are adapting to. There's more, I guess, appeal to learn. And there's more for people to kind of get with the program, as we say.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But thank God, like the new generation is better than we are. Like the millennials and the
Get it?
younger, at least because they are exposed more. Like I remember when I came to the US in 2007, we did not have like smartphones. So it's like the world like was is going so fast, and these kids now they have AI that would tell them everything that the internet knows at the same place. So kids now are better. Like even parents are getting better. The old generation, that was the hardest one. But for now, we're luckier. And the kids are lucky now. Even the kids are so tech savvy, they can find it themselves. They can even diagnose themselves now. Even if like the parents did not know, did not talk about it, they would be like, oh my God, I know about autism. Maybe I am. And there's a lot of assessments online and they can find it themselves.
Also, question now on this,
Yes.
the access, how easy is to access the platform? Is there what kind of cost that people have to if they have to access it? Where is it available? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be available in February. We're still trying to. We want to make it affordable. We don't want to make it like not attainable, like a lot of things around autism. So we're still like trying to find out like how much are we gonna like how much is gonna cost the parents, because for now we're gonna have just the parents out on February 6th. For the we're still working with those ABA like centers. We're gonna finalize it and we're gonna show how much it's gonna cost them too. And yeah, and I forgot to tell you the most important thing in here. Like I attended, like I told you, about 150 webinars about it. The most like problem they have is how they can contact the parents, because the parents are not involved in their kids' education. So we have a parents portal where the parents, and like we're gonna offer that to all ABA centers, which they're gonna give an access to the parents. It's gonna be a continuous work, so they're not gonna get out of the session and go home and forget about the session when they come back next week. So they would give the parents what to work with the kid at home. Same thing with schools. As I said, I was lucky enough to be there for my kid and her education. So I used to take all the resources that the therapist would give me and work with her at home.
I can't find.
What about a single mom? What about a working mom? She doesn't have time for that. And they have no idea what their kids are going through. They have no idea what they're doing at school, especially the nonverbal ones. Even like when my kid comes home, she would tell me how school was. What about the kid that doesn't know how to talk? So we wanted to do like the parents portal. It's gonna be with any, like if we sell it to schools, if we sell it to ABA centers, they would have this component of the parents portal. So that would be a continuous continuity of learning for the kid. He was asking about how much is it gonna cost, and
Not necessarily the actual price, but just like how I'm sure it's going to be affordable, so people can have access
Yeah,
to it.
we have affordability in mind because I mean making money and being a sustainable business is very important, but also you don't want to overcharge for stuff. Like I had a very bad experience with flashcards where they would sell you stuff for $40. It's not
Yeah, I
what you
know.
want to do. Want to really help like parents to better educate their kids, and especially the kids special needs. So we're still discussing the pricing structure, but it's going to definitely be affordable, something that's
Yeah.
Oh well, this is beyond flashcards. I mean, ultimately,
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
comprehensive package. But certainly, again, affordability, sustainability is always a
Yeah, we have
a
that. We
cool
have
thing.
that in mind. You want me to put sustainability in that the word thing for you?
Let's see how we do, eh?
Yeah, you know what? We use that
Sustainability.
ability. Yeah, I know, we have that like as a recurring
Yeah.
thing. We do like, come on, that word was really hard.
Yeah.
Let's go check.
Yeah, I'm gonna email you the video. Unfortunately, I
And
can't find.
he has it. I sent it
Ah,
to
you
him.
sent it? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I sent it.
it's on text. That's why I can't.
Yeah,
Okay.
I sent it to him. Yes, I did.
Okay, cool.
I did. But like,
That's okay. What I'll do is I can add it to the video at the end. I'll play
yes, you
the
can.
edited version. Yeah. So we'll add that to the either the before or after
Yeah.
on the video, so people can see it as just a real tool being used, and how it kind of makes a difference for someone
Yeah, and we're
to learn.
working on the French version and the Arabic version too.
So I was gonna ask that because
Yeah.
I
And
mean
Spanish.
you gotta
Spanish too, because in here we worked on the Spanish already. Because for some school district, they have
they need
basically
Spanish.
just Spanish speaking like
So
kids. They don't. Yeah. So we have the Spanish ready for now. We're working on the French one and the Arabic one because we really want this in Morocco. They have no resources. Yeah, today was just talking to my cousin. She's a teacher. She teaches I think middle school. And she was telling me like, do you have any resources I could share with my kids about autism because they don't know anything about it. And she says her heart breaks about the kids who are on the spectrum in her classroom and they don't get a lot of things and nobody knows about it. So I told her that this is what we have and she was like, that would be great if you could get this for schools in Morocco. But for now we are in the on the talks with some English speaking like schools in Morocco about how to use it there. We're gonna start with those because they have the language and then we will see how we can help them.
Well, just an idea. I mean, there's regular formal schools, but they have the American language centers and all those,
Yes,
Yeah.
this
which is
is
for secondary language. But they could add
Yeah.
this as a program for
yes.
folks that want to register for, assistance, and instead of just teaching English, they can have these for that. So there's something they can probably add it as a service. I'm sure they're going to charge for it, but I mean, there's and by the way, I
It's
do one of
endless.
the well one of the reasons we have the Morocco channel in English is that the idea we
Yes.
want to bring this as an English speaking model channel for Moroccans of the world, and but they can use that here. But also I think information now is becoming a lot more accessible in English and a lot more.
Yes.
I guess folks in the younger generation are speaking
The
English more
younger
than
generation,
yeah,
yes. Yeah.
they're more open to English speaking than
Yeah.
ever. I
Yeah.
mean, I grew up. I mean, I was probably the last generation of French education. I mean, literally. I
Yeah,
mean, we
same
had
here. Same here. All my little cousins, they speak English, all of them.
Yeah, whenever we
yeah.
visit back, I see like there are more kids nowadays
Yeah.
trying, to talk in English and slang. They probably know more slang than I do.
They know
Well, they
more
do.
about the American
They
culture than we do. Seriously. They would tell me something. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, yo, this is big in the US. Like, seriously? Okay. But no.
well, listen. So this is so when can the Moroccan community actually expect having access to some of these or the platform in
Well,
general? I
so
mean,
the
I know
first
February.
edition,
Yeah.
we're hoping for February 6th. We're working really hard with our limited resources and
Yeah.
team, but we're really working hard for February 6th launch. And that's the expected date for parents. And obviously, we need to discuss other launch dates for the other versions. For schools, not anytime soon because we have selling stuff to school is very complex. Like there's state law, county law involved, federal regulation, all sorts
Yeah,
of
no.
things. So even with FERPA, you have FERPA for privacy, like students' privacy, but in some states like California, they have some extra stuff you have to go through. So probably not this year. So
So just a question: is there a provision of having an app version of this, like literally?
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
All right. So
That's why V3 is actually works great on
On
iPads,
iPads and
whereas
phones.
this V2 that we showed you doesn't really look good on iPads. But lots of parents would like to use mobile
Again,
devices with their
phones,
kids.
yes.
So V3 gonna be like the backbone of it, and then we're gonna transform it into an iOS app and Android app eventually. So it's in the
well, so
works.
is that so? Essentially, this will be launched worldwide. Projected right
Yeah,
now.
that's
Date
the
is
whole. Yeah.
February 6th.
Yeah.
All right, and then the languages will follow, and hopefully we'll get stuff. Now, are you in talks with any Moroccan, Department of Health or any other, Ministry of Education to see if they can be because if you accessing that,
We're trying to get hold of some people in the Department of Education of Morocco, and it's very early. There's like I feel that the climate now in Morocco is conducive to business, like especially that the country is preparing for the World Cup. So I feel like there's more willingness from
Willingness,
the
yes.
government to invest, especially in new technologies and things like that. So I'm very optimistic about it. So
We tried, like, because I
yeah.
had we talked to we had a friend that has a contact in the education department, and we were asking about how we can get centers in there for this. I would love if we can do do like training for teachers who are already teachers to be teachers in special education like we do here in the US. And they were like,
It,
there's nothing about that. But they said what we can do is it's like ask for something that would give us the right to open a private school. It's gonna be privatized. So we're gonna look
Yeah,
how we can do
the
that.
legal framework is a bit
Yeah.
there isn't really nothing about special education. There's more awareness. Like I see like TV programs talking about it, like radio shows, but so there's definitely more awareness, but no like legal framework or anything like that.
well, there's a lot of private schools in Morocco, which
Yeah,
Yeah.
accessing those directly may be
Yeah, let's be
the
better.
easy way.
Yeah.
Yeah, be the easy way to go instead of going. Well, I mean, it could be if it comes from the Ministry of Education, then it can get
Yeah.
found out quickly. But if not, you may circumvent it, through the private sector and maybe get in there.
and you know we want this not only for the private sector but also for the
For
Of
public.
course,
Yeah, this is why I was more into like how, because what we have in our platform, we're using all the frameworks that the ABA centers are using. So if you got the same thing they're using here, translate it into French or Arabic, and have like trainings for the teachers how to use the same techniques and same everything, we could have that. Like we could make our own therapist back home.
Yeah.
So they could be using EZducate for that. They're gonna be like a training for them for EZducate. They're gonna get a certificate, and they could work some places, because I know a lot of people who have kids on the spectrum back home. They have money. They have nothing to buy with that money. So there's nothing.
sadly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but again, as we established first, I mean, there's
Yeah.
not enough worldwide, in terms of
Yeah.
services and stuff.
Yes.
So this is, I mean, you're on the cutting edge of developing
And
something.
I firmly believe like we can't rely always on the government to do something. Sometimes you need to be the driver of
Yes.
change. Like if when enough people start talking about stuff, you have technology, then the government will follow up. For example, like during COVID, I mean, the Ministry of Education did actually some good job. Like I've seen like videos on teachers using their WhatsApp for lessons and
Yeah.
communicating with their students. Some of it was backed by telecom companies, like they made the communication cheaper, but some of it was individual like contribution from
Yes.
teachers. So that's how it starts. You gotta start somewhere, and then eventually society follows up, and then the government follows up. So we can't just be passively waiting
No, we're not.
for laws and
Well, yeah,
stuff.
I do have a rule, like, the government can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
the people, have to do something, and that's across the board from any
And
nation,
it's
right?
in our culture in Morocco. Like people help each other anyway. So this is another way to help.
Listen, I mean, you guys are doing it great here in the U.S.
Yeah.
We're certainly working our way in the Moroccan community as well,
Yes.
worldwide, as well as. And by the way, this can be, this show can be an opening, to a lot of
I hope.
discussions with different people. Hopefully, other people will catch on. Maybe reach out to you guys and connect, and maybe there's an opportunity to collaborate and do more. I know your partner is in Canada, and there's a lot of
Yes.
need there too. So this is definitely going to have its way into the Canadian system eventually, hopefully,
Yes.
or at least in the school system. I mean, they have a different way of doing things in Canada. So, I mean, I guess they're more, administratively,
And
government.
depends. Canada is
Yeah.
not just the Canada. Like if there's a very big discrepancy.
Yeah.
That's what that word too. Discrepancy between like the Quebec, the French speaking part,
Versus, yeah,
and
the
the
English
English
speaking.
version,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
English like part. Forget about the French speaking. They have nothing. They don't even like it's like for at least the English part is a little bit catching up. So there's like ways, like not every Canada is ups and downs and downs.
Yeah.
Well,
So
well, again, this whole thing about the healthcare in general in the U.S.,
yeah,
Canada, we still have a lot of ways to go, and certainly there are things in Canada that are better in the U.S. in terms of
yeah,
even the
there
health
are,
system.
of
Yeah, there
course
I
are.
there
mean,
are. We're not saying like I'm talking about autism. The only thing I'm talking about.
well, again, we're still behind the eight ball in autism across the world, and even in the U.S. As much as we think we're
Mhm.
somewhere, we're much better than
Much better
a
than
couple of
anywhere.
decades
Even
back.
in the US, I mean, historically speaking, like it only got traction, I believe, in 1989. There was a movie, Rain Man.
Rain Man, yeah, Dustin
Yeah,
Hoffman
Rain Man. So that was,
and
I
Tom
think, the
Cruise.
first depiction of an autistic character in movies. And suddenly everyone in the country
Was
was
aware.
asking, what is autism? And that's
It starts
created,
with art. Art
yeah,
always does it.
yeah. So that started like people started asking and then advocating and so on. So, but you're right. So even the US, it's quite a recent, like, even though the science was there, like
Awakening,
there was a
yes.
center back in Austria in the 1930s, and then, but it only took off after that movie, really.
Oh, the one thing I was just get. This is actually in regards to Morocco. I think they, like, I think they would call it tawahud, right? And
So,
it is still a very babyish kind of concept
Yeah,
in there in
but they're
terms of.
talking about it, which
Well,
makes
no,
me quite optimistic. Yeah.
yeah,
in
I
the
know.
last couple of years, yeah, you hear a lot more of it,
Yeah,
and again, the programming is there. But like I said, it is for families. They still don't understand it as much as they should, I think, and so the more you guys are putting this out there, the more you're gonna I guess share your work. Hopefully, and maybe there's ways to guess bridge some of that
yeah,
connection in the country with the right folks, and it can be something that really, because you already established a lot of the work and the basis here
yeah,
that can be used anywhere. As a matter of fact, it can be worldwide. Once you translate this into other languages, any
yeah, I
country
know.
is game. I mean, you're talking about any major speaking language. I mean, Arabic, forget it. I mean, now you have a whole world there.
Yeah,
English, pretty much everybody in the world. French, a lot of French speaking,
yeah,
areas. I mean, France and other places. Now, again, it does take an acceptance level, right? But like
Yeah.
everything else, I mean, you look at all the biggest platforms out there, whether in education or any other type of tech. It gets a little bit excited, over time, by people and gets hyped and leveraged well enough, and then people like it becomes the go-to piece. And so this could be the next really educational piece with a focus and emphasis on the autism, as a whole. So this could be the signature, platform for that, and I think that's a good vision, for it, and target, I guess, a goal for it to go. And I'm sure that's what you guys are planning on doing. So listen, I mean, when I heard about it, there was no reason, to miss this opportunity to have you guys come on and.
Thank you.
And I know we missed your partner. Hopefully, maybe we'll do a part two and bring her on board, and maybe
yeah, that
do a
would
little
be
bit more
great.
of that discussion. Yeah, certainly. I mean, this is
Because she
this is
has
your
her own experience
And
too.
she's a
Like,
great person too. Like we
good
do.
experiences are like it's different from one to one, country to country. Like, and as she says all the time, if you meet one autistic kid, you met just one autistic kid because they're not the same.
and that's the thing. Like,
Yeah,
there is no brush, across it.
yeah,
Everyone is unique. And by the way, that's true for everyone. You
yeah,
are
that is
unique
true.
individuals. I'm a
Yeah,
unique person. I mean, there's only one me. There's only, and that's the thing.
yeah,
Like, we are conditioned to these labeling things, right? I
yeah,
mean,
I know.
but at the end of the day, who says that I may not be, in a particular spectrum myself? I mean, again, that's the whole
Yes,
thing.
that
We
is
we hear
true.
the spectrum. What does that mean? I mean, there's
It's
one
a
end to
big
the other,
one.
Mm.
and I'm sure as we advance, there may be more testing, and we all fall somewhere in there.
Yeah,
And by the
I
way, actually,
believe
we
that.
had
You're
this
right.
discussion before. We did have a discussion, with an expert. I mean, one of my co-hosts, on a particular show, she is an actual MD, and we did get, a couple of. I think I shared with you a couple of videos,
Yes, I
and
did it.
and and those were some of the experts in the autism world in the U.S. And I think one of them actually was even featured in Oprah, and so the discussion was very deep, and I think that particular doctor has also personal touch, and history with autism in terms of family, and so it's really the real thing. It is a real fact. It's happening. As you said, it was more like on the denial aspect of things, and we
Yes.
call it other things because we don't want to give it the true, you know,
Yeah.
I guess, definition, or again, I'm going to go to label word, but that's not.
Labels.
I don't like
Yes.
that as much. But the fact is, it is a fact. It is something that we need to face, and the more we do the work, the more we help. There's also acceptance. There's also integration. These are all things that. And there's more awareness now. I mean, there's a whole
Yes.
dedicated month, for autism awareness and stuff like that. So it's a big thing, and I think there is a great deal of work that we have done, and so much more. And you guys are really at least my assessment is that you're part of that wave that's going to make a difference in this world.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
hope so.
kudos to
Yeah.
you. And really, I mean, I
Oh,
I
thank you
commend
so
you guys
much.
for the
Thank
work.
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it.
And the sharing is everything. When you share
Sharing.
and you compare notes with other people,
Yeah.
comparing notes helps a lot. I can tell you that with other autism moms. And like the autism, like the moms, the community is so helpful to each other because nobody would understand you like another mom with an autistic kid. They're not gonna get it. Like if you say something like I was like, and you see somebody goes, I know that they had a kid on the spectrum because nobody would get what I was complaining about or what I was talking about unless they had one in their family. So that's a community too. So it's a community thing. Like we need everybody to talk about it, share notes, compare notes to each other, help each other, resources, share resources. That's all I'm asking for.
Mm.
In the U.S., so there's groups, there's organizations,
Yes.
there's different work groups that are out there, for the world of autism. So there's
Yeah.
quite a bit of hype already. But I think the tools may be limited. And again, you just
Yes.
touched on something that is big, because the biggest part about this is the education piece and how to get the kids to get to the next level and really be able to understand, and comprehend things and be able to communicate, easily. You're giving them that tool, and it's also for the parents, for the therapists, for
Parents, yes, for
the
everybody.
centers.
Everybody's
So
gonna
you're
be
you're
happy.
you're you're covering all the bases and the angles. So again, like I said, it's pretty commendable, the work you're doing, and it deserves to be actually, first of all, an applause, and
Thank
certainly
you.
sharing
Thank you
with the
so
world.
much.
And I know this is just the beginning. You guys are going to continue doing this because
Oh
it is
yeah.
a
Like
passion for
as
you.
I always say, as the autism, it's a spectrum. Even the help is a spectrum. It doesn't take just one. It takes the parent, the therapist, it takes the family, even the support system.
Mm.
It takes the teacher. It takes everybody to help. Because
The
it's like,
village.
yeah, it's more than a village.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a
It's the
country.
world.
Yes.
Well, it is a fact. I mean, think about it,
Yeah.
right? Uh, United, right? We're
Yes.
stronger, right? In strengths, there in unity, there's strength. That's
Yeah, there
big,
is. Yeah.
So the more we unite in common causes, this is a big one. The more we can make a difference, and it helps everybody. It's not like your kid versus my kid, because
No,
if your
it's
kid
not.
and my
Even
kid,
kids, they're
are
so
meeting.
helpful to each other. Like
That's right.
my friend, my best friend from Morocco, she has two boys, and they grew up with Amal. They see her as a sister, and they know about autism. The because they know about autism in the school, they are like so protective of other autistic kids
Mm.
because they have one at home. So it's helpful. Like when I say it's a community, like everybody helps. Even the kids help with ABA. Like my friend Miriam, she has an older kid. She's not on the spectrum. So she says we're using her as ABA therapy for hours because she's my daughter's bestie now.
Yeah.
My daughter never had a friend. Now she has a best friend. So
Well, I
why?
think,
Because her little sister is autistic.
but because she's close
Yeah,
to it. And one thing that, because of misunderstanding,
yeah,
there we know that bullying is huge, right? And
yeah, it
sometimes
is.
people tend to be kids can be a little bit rough, right? When it comes to other kids, right? And sometimes if they feel there's a difference, they might tend to be exaggerating, and even bullies, right?
Yeah,
And so the more we bring this to the surface in education, help people, the least of that
yeah.
stuff, and people will become more helpful to others. And at the end of the day, this is the next generation. When we're talking about kids, that's the future of this
Now
this
they are
universe and the world.
Yeah. And I would say this next generation
is
is
a
way
lot
better.
better, a
Yeah.
lot better. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. My daughter in elementary school, all her friends, because they were with her in every class, they know her, they love her, and she's never been bullied. And you know why? Because even the school here in the US, which I commend them for that, that school they teach like tarbiyah ta'lim, like we do say in Morocco, they have it. They raise the kids with us, like they show them how to act nicely, how to be helpful. Like there's those values, they have them. If you give it them at home, you're sure that somebody else is giving them at school. So they're good. Like even her friends, like they grew up together and they're normal, but they knew that Amal has some things like she doesn't like to play with the other kids a lot. But if you talk to her, she would talk back to you. So what would they do? even if they're playing, they would go and talk to her, which helped her with her language too, and her communication and her receptive language, like specifically. So
inclusion. It's really inclusion, and that's a big one because, as you said, if they are kind of left out from the real for the masses, then they will never adapt to society the way they should be, and that's their right. It's normal. But now with work, things can be a lot more easier. There's tolerance, there's acceptance, and the final target is really the inclusion and being part of the fabric and at work and everything. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, talking about ADA, even at work. I mean, there's things that are available to folks with the spectrum and things like that. So there's no discrimination and so on and so forth. So a lot. I mean, it touches on a lot of areas.
And even exposure too is a big thing. We need to expose your kids to everything. Their brain, like my daughter, I used to take her to Canada every like twice a year to go see my brother. Whenever she comes back, her dad would tell me.
Yeah, I noticed a huge improvement in her. Even though she's exposed to French, it's just when they're exposed to a new environment where they need to adapt. Their brain works extra. And I always noticed like a huge leap in her language abilities after travel. So
expose your kids. Do not like keep them at home. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. Well, listen, I mean, we've actually put 2 hours right now, and
my God, I'm so sorry.
time flew when you have it. Time flies when you have fun, right? But really, every minute of this was really powerful and really shedding light on a big thing. It's a big topic. An hour, 2 hours, days, and multiple shows would not give it justice. But the more we do of these things, the more work we do out there, the more we can reach and touch other lives and give them access to information that's available to them. And you are a resource because like you've shared a lot of good tips today with parents that are either about to have kids or they already have discovered that they are maybe facing autism in their midst, right? So all this stuff is important, and certainly you as a platform, EZDUCATEs, is going to be changing the way education for people who are in the autism spectrum. So that's going to make a difference. And it's not, again, what I love about this, we live in the age of AI and the internet and global, technology and access to information. You are part of that fabric now, and you live in a legacy. And you know what? I'm happy to have had the pleasure of having you guys here, sharing your value and your insights on this topic, and with I guess the health community or the people who are interested in health, but certainly also the Moroccan community as being also on the Morocco channel, because again, the more we share values, the more we can help other people. And someone out there could be just looking to see like what's available, where can I get a resource, and they stumble on this, and now they have access to information, they have access to you guys, and as you guys produce more versions of this thing, it goes big and they get a lot more resources. So thank you for doing it. Thank you.
We would love to do that. We would love to make a difference.
Yeah, and hope we could help any. I mean, if someone wanna reach out to us, we don't mind as well. So
like since my daughter was diagnosed and I went to the other side a little bit after the confusion and everything else, I was like, whenever anybody has a question about autism, I am there. Like I'm the go-to person for autism. So anybody who just thinks that they could have it, they call me. And I was like, okay, tell me this and that and that. Like I was like, why? What am I doing? Like assessments. And now I could even read it in the eyes of kids. It's crazy. I'm wired like that. Even when I'm outside in the supermarket and I would see a kid tantruming, I would know if he was on the spectrum and tantruming or just a tantruming. I don't know how. Like it has sixth sense that
well, you understand it from inside out, right? So you can see, what a tantrum is, and that it's not a tantrum; it's a natural. That's just the reaction of normal, of their normal behavior. So it kind of changes the dynamics on that, and that's again, being a mother, as we said, you do have that motherhood concept in there. Well, so I know we're about to close the show, but is there anything you wanna leave our audiences with, at least for today's show, because I do want to bring you guys back with your partner to discuss once the release happens, and let's test it out there and see how it is. Maybe we can talk more about it. So anything you want to leave the audiences with today?
I just want to say kids are amazing. I wanted to be a mom since I was a baby. So, so just if you have a kid on the spectrum, just be happy you have a kid and just focus on the kids and they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, that was gonna
That's
be
gonna help.
my same like advice. Just it gets better. Like
It gets better.
initially, people are in shock. They don't know what to do, how to behave. But eventually, so you don't have to despair. There are resources to help you. There are things you could do, and it gets eventually better.
Gets better. And if anybody needs help, anybody you know have any questions, feel free to give them my phone number. I'm like, I'm available all the time, especially the newly diagnosed kids and moms of kids who are newly diagnosed, because I remember those days. And I
Is
would
there?
love to have met me when I was there.
Well, that. Thank you for that, because a lot of people, sometimes we may not have had the resources, but once we have the ability to give back, and because sometimes we wish we had people to that had the experience to share that with
Yes.
us, right? Especially when you have to find out on your own a lot of things, right, and learn those on the fly. But is there a website or any place where people can reach out to you guys other than, or email?
Yeah, we have it's
Let's see.
EZDUCATE.ai. Right now, there isn't much. There's a contact form to basically get in a waiting list, but eventually we're adding more features to the website, so it will change. But I'll send it to you in the chat.
Yeah, we'll send you all the research, or
Yeah.
what we have on the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That was awful.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, yeah. So I'll use that on the description of the show, so people have
Thank
it and
you
they
so
can link
much.
up to it. And also, so they'll have your connects, and contacts. So this way, you will get the direct link to anyone who's researching this. And it
Yes.
could be a facility, could be could be someone who wants to use this as their work, and that's about it. To help others, right?
Yeah, it could help even like teachers, like for special education, because they don't have a lot of resources. And as you know, here teachers have to like they don't have a lot. They spend their own money for
Yeah.
their kids. So at least
That's
this
the truth.
thing you have it, and you have internet, you have all the resources you need. All you have to do is print.
Yeah.
If you have a printer, you're good. And it cuts on the time they're spending on like preparing for the classes, the planning, the even like for the flashcards, you can stock them in there and you have them. You can reuse them. You can reuse them, you can share them with your other teachers, like, so it's a community. As I said, it's just not a platform, it's a community.
Yeah, and
Well,
we have some exciting features in the pipeline. Like, for example, teachers would be able to upload like IEP and then get the program tailored
Tailored to the kid.
to the kids. So
which they have to do anyways, because they have to put all that
Yes.
stuff together and they do
Yeah.
assessments. So you can have the assessments there and get everything, right from the. Well, another thing that I was thinking about, and I know we're going to wrap it up, but maybe think about this way: like you have an autist person, right? Someone who is in the spectrum, who is living their life, but maybe they go to places and there's a very difficult way to communicate, because
Yes.
not everybody's going to understand the way, right?
Yeah.
And maybe this could be available in different public areas as a tool. I don't know,
Yes.
as a pad or something where
For
people can actually do
social
this.
for social
Yeah,
interactions.
and people can
Yeah.
connect with them, directly from there, and they can actually have a lot easier communication. I mean, so you can. There's a lot of ways. I'm telling you
There's
guys,
a
I
lot.
can see, a whole. My mind goes crazy when I see these things. I
Yeah.
can see just the potential of.
As I say all the time, like AI is as good as the user, and even our platform is as good as the user. So you can use it in so different ways. Maybe somebody would use it in a way we've never thought about.
There's definitely. I'm telling you, this could be used by anybody. I mean,
Anybody,
in
yes.
because the tools there, there's language skills there. There's ability to teach. Even beginners in English, and as you switch it to other languages, I think it can have the same effect reverse,
Yes.
right? So I mean, it's just a lot of things. I mean, this can be multiple things in one. And by the way, that's how it is. Things start small, and they just kind of
I
like
know.
they just metamorphose, in their own way, and become something bigger than the originally anticipated outcomes. But hey, why not? So if
Why
it's gonna be
not? Yeah, there
bigger,
was a potential from the beginning, because even with there's a lot of platforms out there. None of them are designed for kids on the spectrum. None of them. Like, they're not easy to use. They're so generalized and it's not personalized at all. So when you give a kid, like I remember my daughter, I got her the ABC mouse. I got her a lot of platforms that I used before, but she did not use it because she did not understand anything in there. So it's like, what am
Oh
I
yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to do with
You have
this?
to be able to navigate it and be able to make it easy for you, right?
Yeah,
So, all right. Well, listen, we are coming to the end show because we can go for another hour easily
I
here.
know, I know.
Yeah, this
Especially
is
me. If I start, I wouldn't stop.
Well,
So,
listen, you're passionate about it, and it is a great topic to have a discussion about, and certainly it is for a great purpose. So why not? But certainly, I mean, we're gonna bore people after 2 hours. They're gonna be like, oh, that's
yeah,
it, I'm done. I don't want to
that's
listen
too
to you
much.
guys
I know.
anymore. But
Yeah,
but certainly, we'll have a comeback, with your friend Mariam,
inshallah.
and then we'll do a lot more
Yeah,
discussion. Maybe we can even do a segment in Arabic, just so we can
yeah,
have that
yeah,
that would
for
sure.
be
for the
great. Like
Moroccan
we are
to
here to
to break
help
it down.
in any language.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can do that. I mean, I don't do
Yeah,
that specifically, but we can do it
yeah,
and maybe have something available in there for them. For those that may not kind of, because I've already been told this. Like, I mean, the purpose of this is to be in English, but
yes.
certainly now, actually, by the way, YouTube has the ability to dub things. So
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that was
yes, it does.
impressive. Yeah.
yeah, you can literally just select the dubbing, and this whole thing becomes in any dialect you want. So that could already be a thing for people that are watching and listening. So that's an option. But certainly, I just want to thank you for the time
Thank you
and
so
and
much.
really for the work you've done and willing to share it with the world and certainly making this as part of the legacy for autism in the whole world
In general.
now and in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having us. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
A pleasure. All right, that's it, folks. We're at the end of the show. Hope you had a great time with us. You've learned quite a bit. You've seen the demo. You'll see the cute video there, and you'll see exactly what this is about. And it's I'm gonna sound funny, but we all know someone that knows
Yes.
someone
Yes.
who
Yeah.
is in the spectrum. That's a fact. I have that in my family. Everybody that's listening, watching, doesn't matter what part of the world, you have encountered someone who may be in the spectrum or someone that is dear to you, close to you in your own family that might be. And some people that may not even know because they haven't had kids, for
Yeah.
example. And that could be a possibility. We're not wishing anything that is not real, but it is a fact of life and it can happen to anyone. And it's not, this is genetics because we discovered that is not the case. And so, therefore, we don't know. We can't tell.
Yeah.
But the fact
Genetic
is,
is just a small part of it.
well, I mean, it could be, but again,
Yeah.
that's just one percentage of
Yeah.
of the big picture. But the end of the day is that we can all, the
Yes.
more we educate ourselves, the more we can be prepared to
Yes.
deal with this in the world and be able to help others, navigate this. So, thank you so much for watching, for being with
Thank
us,
you.
Thank
and
Thank
you.
you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you're
you.
welcome. All right, folks. Bye
Yeah,
for now.
bye.
We'll talk soon.